Morning, Terrence.
Hey, good morning. It's coming down to it, baby. What is it, like 10 days now?
The 24th.
Yep. Woohoo. 10 days. Yeah, I was just
I, wo- I,
listening.
I, I wonder if they
Again,
switch focus, the Jets. I
focus.
wonder if, well, yeah, I wonder if offensive line is still their top priority
Yeah,
in round one.
yeah. I'm just, I don't know. There's no bet for it, but I wouldn't be too surprised if they just went like offensive and defensive line rounds 1 and 2, and that's going to upset a lot of people. But in my opinion, if they feel like they got to build through the trenches and then build out later on or next year, I don't know. Well, we don't know. I know Mark was looking back at what Muji did, working for the GM in Denver. So, we'll see. We don't. They're a blank slate. We don't know what they value, what their needs are, and so it's kind of a little fun. But yeah, like I did a mock draft of my own, and both of the tackles, Campbell and Membu, were taken in front of 7, and I tried to trade down. There were, whatever. It was like whatever. I forget. It wasn't PFF. It was like Pro Football something else. It was a free app, and basically nobody. The trades were in the 20s. I didn't want to take them, and I tried to trade with Atlanta to get a second and next year's third, so we can make up for what we did with Reddick, and they denied it. So I just went and took Warren.
Yeah.
So I basically, so
I,
because that was all that was
I
there.
wonder if the Saints are going to trade up.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, because I'm hearing like Shador Sanders seems to be somebody that seems to be dropping, and I mean, I don't know. I keep hearing that Cleveland and the Giants, they solidified their quarterback rooms with veterans. So, it doesn't mean they won't take them, but they may take Carter and Hunter, in that order. I mean, not, in any order, depending on what they feel they need more of. And then where does Shador Sanders fall? And do the Raiders take them? And then you know, I mean, then it's like, what do the Saints do? Do they want Sanders or do they want Dart? If that's the direction they want to go.
Morning, June. Rudy.
Morning, good morning.
Morning, Pete.
Hey, so the question is, though, Terrence and whoever, uh, whatchamacallit, what? So if Campbell and Membo are gone, Travis Hunter, Abdul, and Cam Ward, who's going sixth? Is it Genty? Who is it? And
Yeah,
then
I
who
couldn't
throws the
I couldn't remember.
curveball?
Yeah,
Do the Raiders
yeah,
throw a curveball?
right.
I don't know if you call it a curveball, but I always assumed Genty was going to Raiders anyway.
Yeah. So if
Yeah.
they do that, then the Jets have
Also,
their
supposedly,
pick of who they want, Graham
yeah,
or
supposedly
whoever.
Spy Tech supposedly went to Michigan. So if Mason Graham is there, they might take him too. But yeah, I don't know. It depends on what Pete Carroll and Spy Tech. I think that's what the GM's name is. Want. You know.
Well, didn't
I don't
go
think.
ahead, June.
I
Sorry.
mean, no, I was just saying, Pete. I don't. I mean, it's just my opinion. I don't think you can go defense right in the first round like that. You need some off. You need something on offense, bro. Whether it's a tackle or wide receiver or the tight end, you need something, bro. Like I mean,
Yeah.
you you gotta help Justin out. You can't sit there and assume that that you want him to prosper, but you ain't giving him nothing to work with. That's not cool.
Yeah, June. I think they're gonna take Warren. I don't want to
Yeah,
take
and
him at 7. I'm not
I
gonna
don't
be. I'm.
either.
I'm not gonna be angry, but I just, if they could somehow trade down the 9 with the Saints and get a, if they get lucky and get a third round pick, or a fourth rounder. Not lucky for a fourth rounder, but what'd they get for dropping one spot with
They got
Fashanu?
fifth for trading with the Vikings. Yeah.
So
You might get a fourth or a fifth.
so if you could do that and get
Spot.
Warren, then be my guest. I mean, I'm
How
still
far
not going to be
would you
mad.
want to trade down?
Well, to 9, because the Saints. But are the Saints going to panic, or do they hold there because they know that nobody's taking Shador unless Pittsburgh comes all the way up, which I doubt.
Look, I'm gonna say this. Somebody's gonna trade up, man. Somebody gonna trade up. That should. I mean, as much as people are sitting there saying they don't like Sanders, somebody
Hmm.
like him. Trust me, he's a quarterback,
Yeah.
man, and he's a fucking pretty good one. I don't understand what's all the negative talk about him anyway. He completed 74% of his passes. That's hard to do, bro.
Yeah.
I agree.
And,
Yeah, I
and,
mean,
and
some people say his ceiling could be Joe Burrow. He's that type of he's a pocket passer, but he's very accurate. And Burrow doesn't have the most incredible arm strength, but he's very accurate. And that's what Sanders is on his best days. And so yeah, somebody could do that. Or it's Jackson Dart. Like if I mean, to me, if Sanders is taken in the top 5 or taken at the Raiders, then it might be even more of a frenzy because then everybody's saying, "Oh, New Orleans wants Dart. What do the Steelers do?" Because they're tied right now. Their hands are tied with Rodgers, and even if they get Rodgers, they probably say, "Good, we'll have Rodgers play this year, and then like we get somebody like Dart for the future." But you're not going to get them at 20 or 21. Like if you have New Orleans in the way.
Correct.
So yeah, there could be a lot of movement.
June. I hate to bring him up. I wouldn't have wanted to hang around for this Rogers stuff. Oh, is he playing? Is he not? I know he said he wanted to play for the Jets, but I mean,
bro,
this is
you're right.
nonsense. Like Pittsburgh
Aaron
doesn't even
Rodgers does
know.
it all the time, bro. He does it
Yeah, I
all the
know.
fucking time.
So, I mean, I'm glad we're not in that. I'll be honest. So, it is what it is, you know? Neil, what's on your mind?
Yeah.
Good morning, man.
Trav,
Just listening draft talk.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you, Petey. I think that if Membu's off the board, and I think he will be, I think they're going to be selecting Tyler Warren.
Well, is Campbell going to be off the board, though? Where does he go?
Yeah, I think
Cam will
I,
go.
I think both of them are going to go. I think both of them are going to go before 7. I think Campbell's going to go 4 to New
Yep.
England, and I either think Jacksonville's going to make Membu their pick, even though they have Walker Little at right tackle. I think they need help in the interior, and Walker Little's not good enough. Don't let good players prevent you from taking great players. But I think the move for the Jets, if possible, is moving back and getting an additional day 2 pick, or whatever that package would look like. I know that Tyler Warren is very, very popular. He's actually my tight end too, and I like Colston Loveland a little bit better than him because I think in today's NFL landscape, dynamic pass catchers. That's what the league's rules push to, and I think Loveland just has a better ability to separate, and I think he's just a better natural pass catcher. Not to say Warren's not good. I think they're both like 16 and 17 on my board, but I'm with you, Petey. I do think taking a tight end at 7 is a bit of a reach because I don't think that Warren is even in the caliber of a Bowers. I just think I take Ted McMillan there over a tight end. I would take Arizona wide receiver there over a tight end if I was making the pick.
Exactly, Neil. Exactly. If the tackle is in there, you got to go Ted McMillan. If you can't find a trade down partner,
Yeah, that's going to be.
I did hear somebody on Stock Exchange with Sycamore and Connor Rogers basically glow about Ted McMillan. So my attitude changed a little bit because I was basically thinking he was dropping, but he liked him a lot. And so it kind of, I was like, okay, like I don't know what to think, because I'm not one of, I don't get paid to do this stuff. But yeah, but Loveland, but I agree with Neil. Like if we traded down, like to me, Loveland seems more like in the Bowers mode than Warren does. And to like I wouldn't mind that if we traded down to 12 or 13, and he would probably still be there. You'd have to probably stay in front of the Colts.
Yeah, and one thing that we have to do is kind of be patient with young tight ends. Like, I know Bowers and Sam Laporta are bad examples of this in recent memory, but traditionally tight ends take a little bit of time to get out of the box. It's not as smooth of a transition. You know, the receiver room you guys have, correct me if I'm wrong, outside of Garrett Wilson, I mean, I know they restructured Lazard, but Lazard's not a long-term player there. Like, they do need a receiver
Yep.
pretty badly, correct?
Yeah.
Very bad. Very bad.
Yeah. Josh Reynolds is another guy. Tyler Johnson, they signed from the Saints. The
Yeah,
Rams.
Minnesota.
Hey,
Uh,
He
Neil,
played college in
we
Minnesota.
have a bunch of nobodies, Neil. A bunch
and
of
Malachi Corley. I'm not willing to give up on him, but are the Jets going to give him a chance this year? I don't think they can gamble. But
Well, I don't think you have to give up on them. Like, right, you can run a lot of three wide receiver sets, and the beauty of a guy like Ted McMillan is that he is a complement to what you have. Not really a redundancy. He's your replacement for an Alan Lazard, right? Like, I'd envision in the future, whoever is playing quarterback would love to be staring, under center, staring at Garrett Wilson on one side and Ted McMillan on the other side. Garrett, who just is a lethal route runner, can operate underneath, and then you got the jump ball,
Yeah, he's a Y.
best catch guy. Yeah, you got kind of the best of both worlds there. But it's interesting. Like it's. I think the draft starts at 5 for me. I'm pretty confident it's going to go Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, and then one of the offensive linemen to New England. I know that a lot of mock drafts have Jacksonville taking Mason Graham, and it very well could happen, but they have a humongous need in their secondary. I like I think the first trade action of the draft might be the Chicago Bears, who have that pick at 10. They have two, I think, top 45 picks in the second round as well. I think they're after Ashton Gentry, and they might want to leapfrog the Raiders to get them.
Right.
And I think that pick number 5 is where the first action could happen. And then if you're Jacksonville, you pick up extra draft capital, and then you can go get, a defensive back to help your secondary, because their cornerback room, the Raiders and the Jags probably have the worst two cornerback rooms in football right now.
You're right. The Bears do have Carolina's pick from the Bryce Young trade still. So yeah, they do have two number twos.
And they did a great job of hitting. I think the Bears did a great job of hitting their needs in free agency. I think they got Jonah Jackson and Joe Tooney to shore up the interior of their offensive linemen. I think were they the ones that got DJ Reader at defensive tackle, or Grady Jarrett? They got one of those guys. Grady Jarrett, I think they got. Um, they could use another pass rusher, but like, I do think getting Ashton Gentry is a smart move for them with Caleb Williams. It's not that DeAndre Swift is a bad football player, but if you get a guy that you think transforms your running game, that's going to help make things a lot easier for Caleb Williams.
I'm in the store. Hold on.
I asked this question yesterday on another space. My question to the room is, um, and I'm talking about this particular quarterback class. 3 years from now, who do you think will be the best quarterback in this draft? And give me your top three.
Ward, Milroe, Dart.
Wow, you think Milrow?
Yeah, I like Milroe more than most. I think he has the ability to get on the field early. Maybe a team like Cleveland drafts him, and I think he can make plays with his legs initially as he develops as a passer. I think he's, yeah, and I just I I'm not as high on Shador, and then other than that, it's a pretty weak quarterback class. So I think Cam Ward's going to go in Tennessee day one and be the franchise guy. He probably will start day one. He has the makeup where he can definitely handle that. I think Dart is a guy that, let's say he ends up in like a Pittsburgh situation. Um, he's a gunslinger. He'd have Pickens and Metcalf on the outside. I think he could, and Freiermuth at tight end. I think he would do well from a production standpoint there. And, I do think Milroe, whether it's the Giants or the Browns, somebody's going to maybe even move up into the late first round to get that fifth-year option on him. Not saying I would do that, but I do think there's a lot of buzz, and I don't think Jalen Milroe's going to the draft and accepting an invite there to sit in the back for 3 rounds. So I think that he's probably got intel from his agency that there are teams that have kind of maybe given him the wink, wink, nod, nod. If he's available, they would take him. So I think he's a guy that's probably going to see the field a little earlier than anticipated. Yep, those would be my three.
You can hear me, June?
Yeah, I
All
got
right.
you.
Yeah. Here's another question. It's kind of not Jets related, but what did the Bills do with their 2 picks in the second round? Did they try and get into the first and get another guy?
See, I think the Bills are in a really good position in
Right.
this draft, man. Like, they don't have a lot of needs. They have that one. They have 2 twos. Like, I feel like they're gonna. I feel like they're gonna take their good defense and take it to the next level. So I like, you know, they want a corner because I think they lost Rasul Douglas. I think they could definitely get a cover. Siobhan Revel's a guy that I know he's coming off an injury. I think if not, he's a top 15 pick in this draft. I think the Bills are an organization that could have the patience to draft and develop him, and then when he's healthy, stick him opposite of Benford, and that'd be a good scenario. I think they'll definitely get somebody that can play on the defensive line in round 2, somebody that they could throw, more of a run stuffer. And, I could see them, finding a pass rusher to pair with Epinesa and Gregory Rousseau. So I think they could definitely be a team. I think they have so many avenues that they can go, but they don't need to force anything. That's when you're in a good position. They're going to add 3 quality players to an already, top 5 roster in this league. I think the Bills are probably going to be one of those teams that walk away
Yep.
looking pretty scary after next week.
I want Trey Amos, but Siobhan, but Revel. I can definitely see Revel. I mean, that's the Bills' prototypical pick. They like to have a very athletic player with a ton of upside to his game. Obviously, again, if Revel was healthy, I think he would have been a first round pick because again, you can't really coach those physical intangibles. Even if Revel was healthy, I still have Amos as a CB2. I think as CB2. I just think that he just fits this defense a lot better. I think he just offers a lot more um, in terms of floor. But again, Revel is a player that I can see them doing. Um, and like I said, if they're taking Revel, is because they believe that they're confident that he's going to be ready to go. Like the Saints, their medical staff has said that he should be ready to go before training camp. His surgeons came out and said that he should be ready to go before training camp. So, you're starting to see a lot more of these of these rumors going on that yeah he can be ready to go before right before OTAs, which is a really really good positive sign. And so if Morrison and Revel were both healthy, we could be talking about this being one of the better quarterback classes in decades. But with those 2 guys hurt, those guys are definitely going to be gems where they fall.
Yeah. Rebel's got a little Richard Sherman to him. Obviously the size, but
Yep.
even the way he fights for the ball. Like he's an aggressive player, good ball skills. I like him a lot too, and I think it's a shame some of these corners are battling serious injuries, like the Benjamin Morrison hip injury. That I'll be honest, that scares me to death with a corner coming
Yeah,
out with a
that's
hip
a death
injury. But
sentence for corners.
I'm no I'm no doctor, and I don't pretend to be, but I'm also very cautious of drafting, quote quote damaged goods. But speaking of damaged goods and cornerback, today is Will Johnson's workout.
Oh, very big day.
Neil, didn't you like him for the Dolphins?
Will Johnson, yeah, I think because for those that don't know, they're very close on a trade sending Jalen Ramsey away. Atlanta, the Raiders are two teams I know that are in those conversations. Um, and I think the Dolphins are in not a rebuild, but I think they're in a semi reset right now where they have no guaranteed money for anyone that they've signed this offseason on the books for 2026. They're going to get a compensatory pick for Javon Holland. I think that they're going to try. They tried that, the old F the picks model like the Rams did, but didn't get anywhere out of it. And instead of a full teardown, I think they're going to start resetting and building through the draft. But I think Will Johnson. Nobody has more intel on Michigan than the Dolphins because Stephen Ross throws more money at that school than anyone. I think they're going to have a huge need at corner with Jalen Ramsey, and without him, it's even worse. And Chris Greer, our GM, it's pass rushers, it's cornerback. That's kind of his bread and butter. So I think if he's there, Will Johnson could definitely be the pick. And then I think they're going to be big players for Jedi Barron from Texas if he's there as well. I know that they're big fans of him. He's kind of that Swiss Army knife in the secondary. And that's where I know another team that's all over Barron is the Raiders. So if Gentry does go, I think Jedi Barron has a chance to go a lot higher than people are anticipating.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, I like Will Johnson. I think if there wasn't for injury, this guy's probably would be in play for number 5 to Jacksonville. But it does, anyone who has a lingering injury and can't make, off-season dates because of it, you have to be a little bit weary of it. You can't
What
ignore it.
do the Dolphins have? 13, right? Number 13.
Yeah, 13, 48, 98. Any trade compensation that they will get for Ramsey, I don't think any of it's going to be on in
I
round
say
1
they're
or
going to
2.
get a
I think it's
third rounder if they do.
if that.
Well, yeah, because the other team's taking on his salary, but he'll probably restructure.
Yeah, I think the one scenario I heard was a player and a 5th round pick.
Hmm.
Let's just say that not all the Dolphins players are big believers in Mike McDaniel, and there's maybe a standoff between two different groups of people internally,
Well,
if
right,
that
but
makes
the
sense.
question is now: is Tyreek going to play?
Oh, dude, I would trade Tyreek for a bag of Cracker Jacks. Great football player, loser mentality. You can't win with guys like Tyreek.
Yeah, but what do they do? Do they eat his contract? Do they cut him? What do they do?
I think they'd be able to get a 2nd round pick for him. So I think trading him is the right option. I don't think they're going to do it. I think Mike McDaniel is, for whatever reason, he's a big Tyreek guy, and he kind of lets the Dolphins are one of those franchises that let the inmates run the asylum, and it's no wonder that they don't win playoff games for 24 years. Every step of the way to get this organization corrected, they can't get the front office and players on the same page. I think it's a pretty big disaster. I hate to say it as a Dolphins fan, but I think this is a big implosion year where I think they're probably a 6 or 7 win team, and they're going to look a lot different. And at head coach as well after the season.
So you think McDaniel's gone after this year?
I do. Yeah, I do. I think the trio of Tyreek, Waddle, I mean not Waddle, Tyreek, Tua, and McDaniel are all gone after this season.
Yeah, they don't. I actually checked it out. They don't have a lot of money. I mean, they still have to eat money with Tua, Neil.
Yeah, no, I think it depending on how they can do it. Between Tyreek and Tua, they would free about $70 million if moving on from them. And I think two coaches that they're going to have their eyes on, based off of things I've heard, are John Gruden, and they're going to be very interested to see what happens with Mike Tomlin in
Yeah, well,
Pittsburgh.
Neil, it says on Over the Cap that the Dolphins would eat 79 million in dead money with Tua if
Oh
they
yeah,
cut him.
they're going to yeah they're
Now
going to
let's
eat
see
dead
if
money,
they
but they
trade
would
him.
also create
Would
cap space.
somebody trade? Let me just see.
No, ain't
Let me
nobody.
just
No,
It's gonna be
well if
very
they all
few
right, but
teams
if
that
they
trade for
yeah, if
Jameis
they do
Goods.
trade for him,
Tyreek, yeah, Tyreek. Someone will give him money.
Damn.
I mean,
Yo,
someone will
Neil,
trade for
this is
Tyreek, no
crazy, Neil.
question.
Next year, excuse me, Tua's cap number's 56.4 and Tyreek is almost 52 million. That's wild, man.
Yep, and I
Yeah,
think
but,
and they get out like 50. I think they save 58 million if they label whatever they do with Tyreek. If they traded Tyreek now, I think they save 58 million on his contract alone over the next 2 years. Because it's I know you're looking at cap. It's all about really that cash
Correct.
that's available.
Correct.
So like yeah, I look. It's the move to make. You had two prolific seasons, and that's our guy Reggie's word on our Dolphins pass rush, prolific. But they had they really did have two prolific years with Tyreek as a receiver. But like, I don't know if
yeah,
you guys have paid attention to the news. I mean, he's had more disputes with his
yeah.
wife this offseason than he had touchdowns last year. And it's not my business, but like, I just don't know. I don't see how they continue to go down this route with him. And you know, it sucks when you get a player of his caliber and it doesn't work out. And it's not. I'm not going to say it didn't work out because he had three really good over those 3 year time period of that he had received. I mean, he was amazing here. I just think that everything reaches an exhaustive point and it's just not working. And all the trade rumors, and the Dolphins did listen to teams at the deadline last year. They weren't proactive in the conversations, but they listened. And I think that they are growing very frustrated internally with all the distractions that come along with Tyreek Hill. And for me, that would actually show me an organization that's starting to understand it a little bit if they did move on, but they probably won't because they're desperate organizations do desperate things. And I think
Hmm.
they can have the best roster in the world. And I think their 2023 roster was really good when they had that. I think it was a top 3 roster in football at that time. The problem is that from a front office standpoint, right? They're just not in harmony. The GM, the owner, the coach, like they all want different things and they all pull in different directions, even with Tua's contract. So like if you don't have the guy that can stand on a table, pound it, and say I'm making this damn decision, everyone else fall in line, you got nothing. And like I think there's collaboration that's needed for any front office and any organization, but it's not a mystery. Miami lacks leadership in the organization, and it does it just it doesn't translate to wins on the football field. And that's where you see the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Eagles, the Bills, these teams that have the best organizations. Yeah, they find quarterbacks, and not all of them find them at number 1 overall pick, right? And some of them find them late, but they even like the Ravens are such a good organization to me. They could lose Lamar Jackson and they would figure it out like they just did. They just do. And I think, that's got to be an amazing feeling to have that much confidence in your front office. I this has been a roller coaster this offseason where I'm just like, what are the Dolphins going to do to mess this up
Yeah,
next?
but Neil,
And when you have that mindset,
they're real quick. They're gonna eat money, man. It's gonna affect them. I mean, now how bad it
yeah.
affects them is the question.
See, the cap to me, man, it's not to me, it's all about what your cap flexibility is. So, like, sure, they're going to eat a lot of dead money, but they'll also create $80 million in cap space. So it's like, I get it. Like, eating dead money is not a good thing, but like, I don't know. It just depends. Could it soften your ability to make some moves for a minute? But yeah, but Denver just did it with Russell Wilson, and then they had a better season. I like, yeah, they have to get the Ramsey trade. If this happens, goes down, all these moves that they're talking about making, like what it screams to me and what I think is really important is they are just trying to, they're trying to get older players who are kind of, I don't want to say overcompensated, but they're content football players that have already got Super Bowl rings that are making a lot of money. And those type of players, how how hard are they trying? Yeah, I'll just say it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Do they give a shit? Are they there just to collect a paycheck and be in sunny South Beach? Those are things that you got to pay attention to. And I think Ramsey, Tyreek, Bradley Chubb, like that whole generation of players that the Dolphins brought in, I don't know how committed they are to winning over their own personal brand.
They should just build over Chop. You heard? Well,
Chop Waddle,
well,
yeah,
they
Chop
should
Waddle and
build.
Achan are the
Yeah,
other three
they
guys I
should
keep.
build around Chop Robinson. That guy's good, man.
I mean, but
Neil, I go
I
ahead.
mean, I mean, but the question is he really that guy that you could build around? Like we know Waddle you could build around. Okay, you get that. Waddle's proven, but is Chop really proven? That's the question I have.
I think we lost.
Oh,
Oh,
I think
he's here.
I think. Oh no, I'm here. I think Chops. What he exceeded my expectations, and I think with NFL seasoning, he's going to get better. I mean, he had 6 sacks. He was among, I guess, NFL leaders. I think top 5 overall in pressure rate as a rookie last year. So, yeah, I think there's a lot to build off of. But he's not a TJ Watt. You know what I mean? He's not a guy that I think is a transcendent player at the position. So I think Chop, A Chain, and Waddle are the 3 people that the Dolphins should build around, and that's where another thing that I think helps a guy like Jalen Waddle is trading Tyreek will unlock him a little bit more. But yeah, I think the Dolphins have they're at a crossroads again, and I think the smart move is to get out of these contracts. They had every opportunity to bring back Javon Holland. He only got 15 million a year, and I say only, but he was anticipated to get closer to 20. I just think that they're doing. I think behind the scenes it's a soft reset. I think the owner is saying to McDaniel and the front office, you guys pushed for all this, you got it all. You got to make chicken salad out of chicken shit, or there's going to be consequences. And I think that's where the Dolphins are right now. But you know, I don't think I don't have them as a playoff team in 2025. I think 7 wins is probably where I would say if I had to put money on it today, which is under the Vegas 8.5 win total. I just think I mean, right now they have one starter on the defensive line, Zach Sealer, who's a tremendous player. But other than that, they have Benito Jones, who's been he started for us last year. He was okay, but he should be more of a depth guy. And then we have 2 guys, Neil Farrell Jr. from LSU and Matt Dickerson, who are guys that are practice squad guys. So like you have a huge hole there. Your secondary is a mess. You still have Liam Eichenberg starting at left guard right now, which I do think they'll alleviate in the draft. But it's hard, man. But if Tyreek's out there and you keep his head on straight, like the Dolphins can probably win a couple games that I don't see them
Yeah.
winning. But can they compete with Kansas City and Buffalo and Baltimore? Nah, no
I
chance.
got a question for June. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
June,
Good morning, my
what's up,
brother.
buddy? Did I hear you say that they can build around Waddle, but the Jets should have traded Wilson?
No. See. Once again, for the 13th time, and it's not your fault because someone used to sit there and insinuate that I said that. What I was saying with the whole Wilson thing is, if he doesn't want to be here, then that's when I trade him. I'm not
Okay,
saying I'm
that's
willing
totally
to
different.
wish and
Gotcha.
trade him.
Because we
Right,
can
right.
rebuild around him, I guess. And I guess I like the Jets situation better than the Dolphins situation at this point.
Oh yeah, absolutely. See, the problem with the Dolphins, and Neil has said it before, and I got Dolphin friends, so I hear it all
Me
the
too.
time. The problem is Greer. It's amazing how this guy holds on to his job. I don't understand that. It just doesn't make sense.
Well, let's keep him there, right? Let him,
You know I'm all for
let
it.
him keep fucking up that team. Right,
I,
that
I
works.
actually think the problem is Stephen Ross coupled with Woody Johnson here. I think it's 2 shitty owners.
I agree.
Well, of that has to go hand in hand because he won't fire him. So you might be right.
But they both spend money. You got to give them that.
Yeah, but everybody spends
Both
money,
owners.
Hector.
Yeah, but some teams hold on to the next year, and then you saw New England last year. They didn't spend no money really.
Yeah, they did. They spent money. They
Not a
just didn't spend it right.
Who they spending money
Last
on?
year, they had a ton of money last year.
Yeah,
Who?
right.
right. And they
They didn't
didn't
spend a
spend
Who?
on
lot.
nobody.
Let me look up.
Which team?
New
The
England.
Patriots.
Right,
They had a boatload of money the last 2 years.
Yeah,
Yeah, they didn't
I think
spend
they
last year.
forwarded
right, Pete.
Billy.
But they didn't
They,
spend it.
they didn't
They didn't
spend last
spend it.
year.
Right. Hey,
Hey,
hey, Pete,
Petey,
Pete,
keep that
Pete,
up. We're going to send you
Pete,
studying film with
Pete,
Mark.
Yeah, okay.
Wait,
Please.
wait, wait.
Yeah,
Hey,
What?
Pete, listen. When the 34 team tell you something, you
Yeah,
listen to us.
okay.
When all of us
Please.
are in agreement,
I
that's
will
when you
stand.
listen
There
to
I
us,
you
will
go,
okay?
stand
June.
on. I will stand on my own hill with that. You guys could all come at me. I will gladly debate for 3 hours if I have to.
Don't worry,
I
Petey.
could
We're
care
gonna
less.
see.
I
We're gonna
I could care less about that 34 shit.
we're gonna see
you can
Petey at the
you can
stadium sitting at the 50-yard
you can
line by
try, Petey, but
himself this year.
you can
Pete,
try, Petey, but you will lose.
Petey's
That's
used to
fine.
You
Petey's
will
You
used to
will
lose.
lose
bad
to
teams
us,
that
Pete.
spend a lot of money.
You
Excuse
will
me.
lose.
Petey's used to bad teams that spend a lot of money, though.
Well, who? Oh, wait. Are you talking about the Yankee? Are you
The
talking
The
about
Mets,
the
of
Mets,
Yankees
course.
this year?
No,
Oh,
we're talking
okay.
about the Mets there,
All the
Peter.
shit talking Yankee fans did right now. Well, they're panicking. So
panicking about what,
How?
Petey?
Why are
why
we
are you? You're
panicking?
8-7
Oh,
Petey,
okay, we
with a
over
300.
500.
there's
This
no
is the
You're with a
beginning of the
Cole, there's
300
season.
no
million.
Schmidt, there's no Heel. Like,
So now there's excuses. We don't have Alvarez and McNeil. Now what? And Frankie
Petey,
Montez. We're hurt too.
is that the same category?
No, but what is that? You're moving the needle now.
But you don't have McNeil.
So what? Yeah, we have freaking
We
we have yeah. He actually won the batting title. Since if you want to live in your own
Petey, that was
fantasy and
when
you don't
Brees
watch
Hall was good.
oh yeah.
he said
Oh, so
McNeil of all
I'm
people.
just saying. I'm not saying McNeil's great, but he's a professional hitter. They have guys that are hitting that aren't even shouldn't be in the major leagues right now, and they're still in first place.
Half your team shouldn't be in the major leagues.
Let's
I'm a
go.
fan. I'm
Who's
staying quiet.
that's all right. Who's ready to talk? Yeah, the Yankee fans are real quiet right now.
Not at all, Petey.
Huh?
Nah,
Not at
Not at
all.
come
all.
on.
You got smoked at home
No.
by the Giants.
How was Soto working out
So
for you,
what? He's
huh?
not hitting right now, and they're still winning. So that's a good thing. When he starts hitting, then the Mets are going to be really good, and they're already good.
The teams
Petey, I
you
hear you on these
the,
spaces
the teams you're
complimenting
beating
Clay
is
Holmes
hard.
with his 1 point,
No, I'm not
whatever,
complimenting
8
Holmes.
whip.
I think Holmes has been bad. He's just
Stay
striking
tuned
out
on Clay
people.
Holmes, bro.
Just give me a quality start. I don't care
5
about
walks,
Holmes.
8 strikeouts. That's his
Yeah,
line.
actually, he had 10 the other game, a career
With
high.
how many walks?
Probably 3 or 4. That's not
How many
good.
hits?
I don't know, Buckeye. I don't keep track like you do. The
Like
34th, the 34 team should do that, since you guys are a team.
Petey, you know how the Mets finish.
That's all right. We'll see. Let's see how good of a manager Aaron Boone is this year, which you guys all want him gone.
Not me.
Oh, all right.
Cashman, yeah.
June, you're
Boone, I'm
kind of
fine with.
quiet, June.
Yeah, I do want him gone. I ain't gonna lie about that, brother.
June, should I send you a blue or not a blue, a black or whatever, navy blue or 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 a green Yankee hat when they don't finish good this year?
Are you
Petey, you
kidding
know
me?
your big
Hey,
trade
Pete,
deadline move is going to be like signing David Robertson.
You know who else
Yeah.
we
yeah.
want
How
gone?
about them Marlins?
Yeah, get out of here, Marlins. What up, Reg? The Marlins. Jetstream is up there too. Come on, you could join the
What
you
up,
could join the
Jet?
34 team. At least I got Tonesy up here, who's a Met fan.
He-
But come on, bring it.
he's a member. The Jet's a member
Who
Hey,
anyway.
hey, you
Yeah,
need to make it a 30.
Am I?
Jetstream is a Yankee
Hey,
Yeah,
Petey.
fan.
yeah,
Yo,
Hey, Petey.
yeah.
I
Yes,
know.
Petey,
yes,
you need to turn it into
yes.
the 35th and then tear it down.
No, I
All
ain't
right?
turning in the. I don't turn in the.
Tell him to
I'm
get
not
Reg.
Tear
following
it
it. I'm
down.
not following anybody like that. I'm not doing that. I'm my own person.
Petey, we can get you a headband and on it have printed "Tear It Down" 3-4.
Oh yeah, 3-4. Would I
Tear
wear
it
a three
down.
four
3-4.
headband? Maybe. Sure. Why not?
That's what I'm talking about, brother. Get down and lay down. What up, Reg? Tones, what's up, brother?
What's good? What's good? What's good?
The
I see.
Mets.
I see. I'll
The
talk
Met.
about it.
The Mets are good right now, even though they ain't hitting, and they're still winning.
Look, dude, but look at the
June,
teams
who
that you're
cares? They're on
beating.
the road. If you could
But you
win
two,
two,
but
go
you
ahead.
can't.
About the
You can't
record.
say that when the Yankees celebrated dusting the Brewers when the Brewers and the Marlins had the same record. So I don't know.
I would like to go out on a limb and say the Brewers are way better than the
I have the
Marlins.
same record, so that's we're talking about right now, not an entire season. So
Okay. All right. You got that. You got that. I'll wait 2 more weeks and then I'll come back to you on that.
Yeah, PD allowed me to post a video I dropped yesterday that says everything about how I'm feeling about the Yankees right now. I'm never a pom pom guy. I just, even with the Jets and the Yankees, I just try to live in reality and call it as I see it. Try to stay optimistic, but I got to call it out, when I see it. So
They're not
Boone
good.
is
They're not good, man. I'm sorry.
they're
If
no, they're
Judge
not.
doesn't hit, look, Soto's not hitting for the Mets, and they're still finding ways to win. Who cares?
Right. Well,
Petey,
there's a
they
reason why
lost
the
three
Yankees don't win.
pitchers, three,
Okay,
and it's the
so
top three. You don't have a Garrett Cole
Starters.
on your staff. That
good.
doesn't exist.
Okay.
Facts.
I feel the tension of Yankee fans getting mad.
Let's just assess when
Yeah, we got
Schmidt
to yeah
rejoined.
we got to switch it up, man. Trade Breeze. Trade Breeze.
Yeah, we
Let's
can
trade.
go.
Let's trade it
Yeah,
up.
I
That's what I'm
know.
talking
We
about.
should go back to
That's what I'm talking
football
about.
because the
Trade
Mets are in
Breeze.
first place right now. I'll sit on that on a Monday, April 14th. They're in first. Let's see how it goes down the road.
2 weeks into the season and you hanging. Okay.
Actually,
All
it's
right.
not
All
2,
right.
it's 3, June. Get it right.
All right. All right. All right. All right. I'll give you another week. You'll fall. You always do.
they said that last year we went to the NLCS. Just throwing that out there.
Oh, but then they're going to say, oh, the World Series. We made it to the World Series.
Well, that did happen.
Well, we did.
Yes,
Hey,
that's why I'm
Buck,
saying
did
that's
it
why I'm
happen, Buck?
saying that.
It did happen, right?
All right, we're not
Yeah.
trading Brees,
Okay.
jerk. So
Trey Brees.
I don't understand it.
I saw some
It
report
really
that it was a
depends on
third and a fifth from Dallas.
it really depends on compensation. Like, you never know. Brees might be like, "Listen, I'm out of here," and they might try to get something from him instead.
If you can get a third and fifth, I'll take that in a second.
Let me
I mean,
yeah,
let me
but
really,
let me ask you guys.
Jetstream. Go ahead,
No,
Fonz.
no, I
Here
just want to
comes
ask you guys a
Tom with his
question.
trade proposals. Fucking
Who would
jerk.
you guys? Who do you think nets more, James Cook or Brees Hall in a trade this year?
Ugh. Well, you got to really pay James Cook. So I don't know, to be honest.
You have to pay Brees Hall.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Pete.
but James Cook is going to get like north of Brees for sure in my eyes.
I don't think so.
Why not?
I think the market's actually bigger for Brees, to be honest.
recency bias. If they go based on that, Cook had
I
a
don't
better
know
year.
about that. Yeah, I don't know about that.
Does James Cook have a history of injuries to the knee? All
Mm-mm.
right, so Brees already had a major ACL. He's just coming off a
Mm-hmm.
down
Mm-hmm.
year where not only it's not about just running, but fumbling the ball. That's just bull.
Mm-hmm. And catching the ball, Jet. And catching
Yeah,
the
dropping.
ball.
I mean,
Right.
correct.
Yeah.
Long
Yeah.
ACL
Yeah.
surgery. James Cook just has an attitude problem. Really,
Yeah.
it on field has
Mm-hmm.
been pretty good. So I'd say his market's bigger than Brees's
Mm-hmm.
at the
Yo,
moment.
let
Yeah.
Tones. What were you gonna
A
say?
lot. He always
No,
want to hear
I want to
something
hear
else.
him. No,
No,
go ahead.
I was just curious because you guys keep talking about Brees Hall, so I was just wondering what you guys' thoughts on that was because I want the Bills to move on from James Cook and figure it out in this draft if they could get something. So I was just thinking about who would get more if they were both
Oh,
available.
you guys will definitely get more. You guys will get more for James Cook. He's more productive. I mean, the running back in the Jets, he's never ran for 1,000 yards.
Yeah, I mean Cook touched 1,000 because of game 16, 17.
Well, I mean, shit. Our running back had 17 games and he still didn't touch 1,000.
Yeah, either
June, he
I
didn't.
just thought it was
June,
interesting.
come on, June. He didn't have it for
What?
June. What? He
What?
was
He did.
3, 4 yards short, man, and they
It doesn't
miscalculated it.
matter.
Come on, June.
They miscount. How about he just didn't have it?
How about
He didn't
right?
get
How
it.
about both could be true?
Boy, I tell you.
I don't understand why you guys want to get rid of good players right now. There's no point, in my opinion. Just keep the guy and ride it out.
Now I had to question your definition of good. What's good to you?
Can I tell you why Brees is
Br-
worth more than James Cook though?
Brees
He's
Hall's a good
he's
player,
2 years
June.
younger. That's why.
Okay, I think James Cook right now is better, Buckeye.
That's not what I said. I said who's worth more?
Okay, all right.
It's Brees.
My opinion is though is I
I
think.
would not pay James Cook at 26 years old. I just wouldn't do it.
Oh, he's
He's
26.
turning 26 this year.
But you would pay Brees with
I
who has
wouldn't pay
injury
No, he
Brees.
concerns?
wouldn't. No, he wouldn't.
Oh.
No.
But Tones, if you ask me the question, according to these effing 34 team guys, oh, PD will pay everybody.
Yeah, he will. Except for Lazard. You know, that's his first thing he ever say.
June
Buckeye
Lazard is
Lazard.
not even that they restructured. No, it's just
Well, this is what I'm saying. As far as everybody else, you're gonna pay him. You're gonna pay him. You're gonna
yeah.
keep him.
I'll die on this hill by myself, and I don't need Mark. You guys are nuts with this
Don't worry.
shit.
Listen, don't worry about it. We're gonna celebrate you when you're
No,
gone.
you're gonna miss me when I'm gone. How about that?
I will
Petey's
miss
willing to
you,
let
Petey.
Zerline
I
go.
will. You,
Oh,
you want to hold
so
on to
now
Jeremy
you
him?
guys
Ruckert.
want
He's
wait,
willing
wait,
to let
wait. No,
Ruckert
no.
go.
Yeah, so wait, but now you guys want to backtrack and say, "Oh, because you said this that day." Come on, man. Let's stand on the hill now. The Jets wouldn't be as good if they traded Brees Hall right now. It's a fact.
What
Why
we
wouldn't they
wouldn't win
be?
5
Wait.
games
How is that a
without
fact?
Brees Hall.
I'm just saying, Brees Hall is a productive player, and they need him. I think he's going to be good with Justin Fields.
Pete, good
I
morning.
think any running back will.
They don't need
Oh,
him, PD. Like I would say you need
Okay.
Garrett
like
Wilson
that's
on the outside.
Hi,
crazy.
You need
Mark.
Garrett Wilson on the outside.
Good morning. I'd like to talk a
You,
little
you,
football if that's okay.
Yeah, I was it. Well, we were talking baseball. I baited you. That's why I did that.
Uh, Pete, I'm looking at, well, good morning. And good morning, everybody. I am looking
good
at, good
morning.
morning,
Morning.
June and company. I am very interested in two storylines heading into the draft because, well, we're 10 days out, like you said. I'm very interested in this Shadur Sanders slipping out of 2, 3, etc. Is this real? What do you guys think?
Probably. Well, Mark, we were talking about it before. Um, what if the Jets are in? I was saying I think the Jets are actually going to take Warren now. I don't want them to take him at 7, but if they can move down to 9 with the Saints, which I don't know if the Saints will trade up, then and get an extra 3rd or 4th rounder. I don't. But don't forget the Saints are moving up for a quarterback, so it may cost more. Quarterbacks cost more than players. But what McCarthy costed, what, a 5th rounder last year to move up one spot? That
I
wasn't
think
me.
that's right.
That was me. That was me. My mistake. But you know what? That's why I don't think they're gonna move up because before the whole Sanders falling thing was gonna go down, I believe they was gonna take Jackson Dart at number 9 anyway. So now, if anything, it just helps them out.
Wait, so they would take
It makes no
Sanders,
sense for them
June,
to
you
move up.
think, or they would take Dart instead of
It,
Sanders at 9?
well, once again, if Sanders not there, I
Oh,
think
okay.
they was gonna lean towards Dart anyway. That's what I'm saying. Like by Sanders falling, it just helps them out even more.
And the other major
So,
storyline is this car injury. Like these two things together, are there any
mhm.
more potent storylines this week, like heading into the draft? I think it's those two: the car injury and the potential of Sanders sliding.
That and Brees supposedly, you know, what was it? The Broncos with their
Oh, that's a Jets problem. I don't
offering
know.
or
Mm, yeah,
Chicago
let
offering, you know.
Curtis jump in before Curtis uh, goes nuts here.
Oh, I'm not going nuts, man. Good morning, man. Happy Monday, ladies and gentlemen.
Morning.
Another
Uh,
fine day.
What up,
What
Curtis?
up, man? Another fine day to be alive, man.
Yes, indeed. Thank God.
Thank God for another day, man. As long as we on our 2 feet standing, it's a good day. Um, I I think that car injury is a really big deal. June, there's a little truth to what you said. I believe they were already relegated to thinking about Dart before the
Yep.
injury, but I really think Shador is going to plummet. And the reason why I
Mm,
say that is one, um, The whole Joe Flacco signing was not a death piece. They're
Nope.
Cleveland is going in because they wanted Cousins, couldn't get him, so they're gonna go with. Hear me out, and everybody gonna think it's funny. They're gonna go with Flacco. They're gonna go with what's that boy name who was in Pittsburgh? Pickett. That's what
Kenny,
they're gonna run
Kenny
with.
Two Gloves.
They're gonna
Kenny
run
Two
with that
Gloves.
because they got the same thing as us. They looked at the Jets like, why the fuck we don't do that? If we just suck, we're gonna have the #1 overall pick, and we're gonna get a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're thinking. So Heath Shador's not going to Cleveland. Shador's not going to the Giants. We
Nope.
know what the Patriots are
That's
doing. We know what Jacksonville don't want. The only other landing spot might be the Raiders, but I don't see that because they just gave Geno a lot of money, a whole lot of money, and Geno got some years left. Um, that leaves us at 7, and then guess who's right after 7? Carolina Panthers. So,
and they don't need one
well,
either,
here's the thing.
right?
No, but they are a division rival to fucking New Orleans. They don't, and
Yes.
so they're like, hey, guess what, guys? We can make bank
We
and
open for
we're
business.
open for business because
Mm-hmm.
we really want to screw New
Mm-hmm.
Orleans. So it doesn't matter if
Mm-hmm.
Dart is. It don't matter who's available. Somebody is going to jump ahead of New Orleans because Carolina can do that. So
Mm.
New Orleans, that's why I said I want to fight back on your point, June. New Orleans has, I don't think they have no issue giving up a third to get up to 7. They got to get in front of Carolina. Period. It don't matter if they want Dart. It don't matter if they want Sanders. And then whoever out the other two, Pittsburgh or another team is going to jump up to grab the other one. So
See, see, this is my pushback to that. If they already if they already like Dart and Sanders does fall, then there's no need for them to jump up. Whatever team will jump up and take Sanders, they still gonna get Dart.
again, you got to understand though. I think they like. I think I don't want to say like is the word. I think they relegated to themselves to thinking the only one available would be Dart. You know what I'm saying? They didn't think.
Right, but
I
now
don't think they think Sanders would have dropped that far.
now that's my point. Being that they already talked themselves in the going with Dart. If Sanders is available and somebody jump him, like it's no big deal because they was gonna go with Dart
Well,
anyway.
hear me out, June. We're all men. You know, we're all men, and there's probably ladies
Yes,
on the
sir.
thing. You know, this is one girl, a guy y'all like, and y'all thought y'all didn't have a chance, right? All of a sudden, they come say, "Hey, man, how you doing?" And now you got a chance. Are you going to
Uh-oh. Shoot
settle
your
to
shot,
go with
Curtis. Here we
that?
go.
You got to shoot your shot. You got to go shoot your shot. So this is a big deal. This is a big deal. And the craziest thing is, I think the car injury just didn't happen. I think it's been going on. And they thought they could hold out and maybe regular rehab will work. But I think they just got the word he got to do surgery.
Mm.
No,
Which,
Mm-hmm.
can
at
I
the end of the
can
day,
I jump in on that?
hold on. Before you jump in,
Good.
hold on. Before you jump in, here's my last point. Sorry for taking so long. This also this also was another bullet dodged. So either way, the Jets would have been screwed. The Jets were screwed with Rodgers. The Jets would have been screwed with Carr. So at the end of the day, we probably would have still been in the same place with either quarterback. That's amazing.
No, 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 you know why I say no? That one right there,
Uh-oh.
I don't agree with because I mean, with Derek Carr, if we'd have took Carr, we'd have more money to still make some more moves on
Okay,
top of
I
that.
agree with that.
And,
I agree with that.
right, and the offensive our offensive line is better than the Saints. So
I don't know about that.
I don't
I don't know about that one.
I don't I don't think he would have took the beating that he took in New Orleans.
That's some
Okay.
shaky ground, man. I don't know if you could. I don't know about that one. I mean, I think Curtis's point is well taken that if the Jets would have got Carr, they would have. Look, either way, I think they would have been looking at the draft because Carr's not the long-term solution for either team. If he's a Saint or a Jet, they're trying to figure out. Both teams would have been hunting for quarterbacks. I think is the point. And now the Saints, this is a nightmare for the Saints because now they're going to be paying. I mean, imagine the Saints as a trade partner. You can really hold them over the coals, trying to get what you want to get because they're desperate for a quarterback now. It's a problem for them.
Yeah,
Tom,
Yeah.
go
that's what
ahead.
I'm saying, Mark. They're going to wind up. It might cost them more. Go ahead, Tom. What's your trade proposal today? Because You're on thin ice with these trades, Tom.
Well, guys, I pulled into Miami Stadium and they took out my reserve parking
Well,
spot.
wait. The latest was you at Tones. I'll get to you, man. Sorry. What tone? The latest was you worked for Jerry Jones. Now that didn't
No,
work. So what's
I
next?
tried to trade you to it last week, and you guys wouldn't bite. So
No way.
I
No
got
way.
I'm actually out here in LA working for the Chargers now. And man, do I got to do. What do you? We want to be in the Brees Hall business.
Oh.
Oh, let's do it.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
June,
You
the
look, look. I,
34
I
team
answered the
will be.
phone. I
I
answered
have
the
a trade for
phone.
you, Tom. Too. How about we trade our left tackle Olu Fashanu for Dion Dawkins?
Oh,
How about that?
I got that. You got to take that up with Brandon Bean.
No, so now you're pulling your. Go ahead.
Okay,
I'm kidding.
we want to be in the Brees Hall business. We really do. We want to work with you guys. So what we're going to offer you guys is the fourth round, 125th pick,
Done deal. Done deal. Done deal.
120th
Done
pick
deal.
overall, and Gus Edwards.
Done deal. Done deal. Done
What
deal.
do you think, Petey?
Done deal.
Done?
Done deal.
Since you had to talk
Already,
to your
already,
guy,
already
since you
accepted.
had to talk to your
Already
people, I
accepted.
got to talk to my people.
Done deal already.
Speaking of my people, my Met people, Tones. Tom, I'll get back to you
Okay.
on that. Tones.
No, I was just gonna say on Shador Sanders' tip is that I know he mentioned the Raiders like they just signed Geno, but we literally saw the Falcons pay Kirk ungodly amounts of money and still draft the quarterback. I think that's a situation where they could draft Shador to sit him behind Geno. So I think the Saints, if that's who they
Mm,
want, and it gets past 3, they trade up to 5 to go grab him if that's their guy. Because I don't think they take that chance with the Raiders. Because it does make sense to have Shador sit for a year or two and have him learn the game behind Geno. And who knows if Geno falls
true.
off the cliff, reverts back to
True.
pre-Seattle Seahawks. So the opportunity is there for him to take over that job within, the next year. So I think that's an interesting development when it comes between the Raiders and the Saints. But I got this. I personally have the Saints moving up to 5 to get Shador, just because they need a quarterback.
So let me wait. Does anybody know how long is that deal with Gino?
3 years.
2 year extension,
It's
right?
3 years. They
Two
can
years.
get out of
So
it after 2, probably. I'll look it up right now.
So because I'm saying if they could get out from under it after 2, then maybe Sanders is really a
Hold on.
possibility.
June.
Didn't
Let me
Atlanta
just
show
look.
you that if they
June
like someone, it doesn't matter?
teams.
Yeah. Yeah, look, wait, no, now look. This the funny thing, Buckeye. When Atlanta made that move last year, everybody's laughing and telling them that they were stupid. I kept saying, that's actually a good move. And now look,
Well, yeah. Well, because they moved on. All right.
I think it
So,
was stupid.
okay.
You
So let
guys
me
think
just see. Geno Smith. Sorry, guys.
I think that was a
All
y'all
right.
stupid
think
move.
Santa's gonna fall to him?
So
no
so
way,
in
bro.
year 2027, it looks like uh, if they move on from Geno, the Raiders will save 39.5 million with no dead money. Now, March 15th of the league year next year, 2026, 8 million is guaranteed in his salary. So it's a 2-year deal. It's a 2-year deal for 66 million technically.
It's great. That's a great deal, right? Given what's coming out in the next year's draft at quarterback.
Yeah,
So they're
so I
not. If it
I
works, great. If not, fine.
I mean, do you consider, you know, Oakland or sorry, Vegas a destination for Shador? Who's their backup?
I mean, if you're looking at the stuff outside of football, I mean, listen, man. If you're putting him in Vegas, and he's a personality, plus his dad and the whole, you could
Mm-hmm.
paint a picture for all that.
They could
But it
sell
could
some tickets.
also, you could sell tickets,
Mm-hmm.
but it could also
Mm-hmm.
implode like spectacularly if it flunks. So he's not going to get. I mean, think about the runway for Shadur in Vegas. Like The lights will be very bright if he flunks there. So that could be a problem too.
But they wouldn't rush him out there. They wouldn't rush him out onto the field when you have a Geno who still did decent the past 2 seasons. So there's no
That's
rush.
true. That's true. You give him a year to kind of get his sea legs. That makes sense. I want to go back to Tom's deal for a second. The Brees Hall deal. I don't know, Tom, Tom, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. I didn't know if you were in the car because you were driving to another facility or if I was going to be able to connect with you. Because I mean, your services are in high regard around the league making these trades. So I don't know if I would make that deal, but I mean, as a fan of football, pairing Brees Hall with Justin Herbert and Harbaugh and that offense, every Jet fan who's down on Brees Hall, you want to see Brees Hall flash. If I'm Brees, that's a terrific setup for me. So I don't know. I don't know because again, can you imagine him as a check down for Herbert plus the rest of it? Like, oh my god, and he's a receiving threat too. Like that would be a really nice.
I tell you, Mark. I tell you what, Mark. I'll throw our 7th round compensatory pick that we got, and we'll take Lazard off your hands.
Why would you guys take
Wow.
Lazard? Like that's Tom. No offense. Why would you want Lazard? That's kind of dumb right now. To be honest,
We need depth at receiver.
I'm not
We need
calling
depth.
you Tom. And by the way, for people that want to twist words, I'm not calling you dumb, Tom. I'm just saying I would think that would be dumb to, go to from the Bills to the Jets. Why would they want the Bills? Don't want Lazard.
Pete, I think not the Bills. This would be the Chargers.
Oh,
I think that
I don't think the Jets are going to trade Lazard unless it's for Rodgers somewhere, and then they're going to eat money. Why even restructure the deal? Because they could have got out of it with a trade anyway. They would have ate $6 million, 6.5, and that's it.
well, they're banking, Pete, on the stock on the Jets front office, thinking that Lazard's stock is dirt cheap, like just short of being released, right? So in that scenario, you're like, all right, well, I'll give you bottom dollar for Lazard, even though Lazard, no Jet fan wants to consider this, but Lazard and the Jets in a newly structured Jet offense, that's a run first offense with an underwhelming receiving core outside of Garrett Wilson. I mean, Lazard could be a fit. Again, I'm not a big fan of his, but he's a big body dude. He could be potentially a red zone threat. He could be helping the run game.
Yep.
I mean, the drops
Mark,
kill you.
I brought that up too, Mark. Even if I want Garrett Wilson on the field the whole time, but you could go too wide and put Reynolds and Lazard in there, and they're both two big wide receivers and block. You know what I'm saying? For one play. Because I know freaking the other regime used to put fucking Irv Charles in, by himself and that 13 personnel. I hated that. But
The outside threat of Herb Charles.
oh
Yeah, I know.
yeah, or they had Gibson in with freaking Zach Wilson. What a play design by Nate Hackett, by the way.
Who knows? Yeah. I don't know. Tom, I don't know if I want to take that deal, but you know that I'm high on Brees Hall. I think Brees Hall is going to have a nice year.
Same with me.
This is going to be the year I think this will be the year out of Brees Hall that we were expecting last year to be, where he'd be a focal point of the offense. And see, because listen, man, they immediately have a dangerous.
I think he has a very high ceiling.
Rushing attack with Brees takes the fields. What's that, Tom?
Hall has a very high ceiling, and I think he's going to show it for you guys this year. And you guys are going to sign him to a big deal eventually. That's my opinion.
Well, Jarek, come on, if you can come off me. Jarek, are you here?
Yep.
Jarek, I'm shocked that Buckeye thinks that, and I'm not saying you're agreeing with Buckeye, but he thinks that Brees has more value. I think that's hard to believe, man. James Cook he's a top 5 running back.
Well, I wouldn't say he's a top 5 running back. I think
Last year he was. Why? Is it because of the line, Jarek? Like, is it really just because of the line?
Let's be honest. He's a 2-down back that had 1,200. He had 1,200 yards overall. This is rushing and receiving. Technically, Brees Hall outproduced him. Technically, statistically, he outproduced him. But yeah, I mean, Cook. I mean, like I said, Cook. No, again, Cook showed a lot of improvement. I thought his contact balance got better. I thought his overall vision and setting up his blockers, reading the holes, his explosiveness, speed. Um, Obviously, I think all those things got improved, and I think that James Cook, became a much better back to a point where he's going to be, he's in the top 10 conversation for running backs. But when it comes to top five, so he can't pass block. He can't. He can't. Like we can't. He's not a three down back for this team. If he was a three down back for this team, then we wouldn't. Then guess what? Ty Johnson is signed somewhere else. But we have to sign Ty Johnson to a lucrative contract. Because James Cook.
What did they pay Ty Johnson?
I think
Hold on,
yeah,
I'll look.
I think it was like $5 million
For 1 year.
$45 million. No, we signed him 2 years.
Ty Johnson, where the hell is he here? Oh, here it is.
Let me ask a Bills
2 year, $5 million.
question on this. I want to ask a roster construction question around this. Just putting the money aside for a second. And this is
2
about
years,
personnel, right? And having the roster to make this work. If you give Josh Allen a more legit outside threat, so if you improve the receiving core, plus your line, plus having him at quarterback and an OC that understands how to use those pieces, I think that's the point at which you're ready to bargain bin at the running back position. What do you guys think of that?
Nah,
Mm-mm.
we need to focus.
No, still no.
Mm-mm.
Nah, we
No.
need to focus on defense.
Well, right. Well, Mark, let's be real. If they get rid of Cook, is Ty Johnson, well, more towards Jarek, but is Ty Johnson, he's the number
Johnson ain't gonna
one with
start.
Ray Davis,
Yeah,
right?
Ray. It would be for now. It would be Ray Davis, Ty Johnson. But I mean, like I said, because our offensive line is already established, you can just draft a running back.
Yep.
Well, I
Draft a
agree
running
with
back.
that. And that's where the Bills, to me, just elevate. And Jarek, I'm not wishing this on anybody, but the Bills have been really healthy the last 2 years on that line.
Right, we've been lucky.
And that,
But the depth,
I'm
I'm
right.
it's to a point. And like you said, PD, I'm not wishing for of course, I'm not gonna wish any injuries on any of my players. But it's to a point now where if some of our guys get hurt, we have at least two or three dudes that can
Who's
start
the
on any
guy that
team.
comes in, the sixth guy? What was his name? They just drafted him last year.
Tyler Grable.
Yeah. I mean, he played well when he was in. I saw him in on a couple of when they played the Jets, and he looked pretty
Like
good,
right
man.
now, we're having Connor McGovern. You can make an argument he's a top 15 center in the National Football League right now. We're having contract, according to McGovern on the Cover One podcast, I thought that was a deal. Hey, that might be something that we can get done. Listen, the Bills are not gonna overpay for him because guess what? His replacement is Cedric Van Pran. That dude will start. That dude may be the starter in about a year or two, potentially. We have an offensive line and offensive line room that in a way is in place. Like we're in place for that. So why would you overpay or try to give a running back $15 million when he's not the main reason why that offense wasn't churning around was because of the offensive line.
You
True.
see what, Jerry? That's my point. Good, good winning organizations don't overpay for shit. So that's the point that I'm always trying to make. Like I'm willing to overpay for elite players, but if you're not elite, I'm not gonna overpay for you.
But to
June,
that point,
yes.
Gene, think about the work you have to do to get to that stage. Like, I understand not wanting to overpay. I totally get it. But that involves great drafting. It involves great player development, right? It involves great coaching. Like, there's a lot of things and an environment and an owner that's on board with the plan. You need all those pieces in order for you to not be. Otherwise, you're paying the jet tax like they did when the Jets went and got CJ
Correct.
Mosley, or you overpay for a player who's a wide receiver 2 and try to hope that they got it, like in the case of Corey Davis, or you run the risk of getting guys on a rookie contract that are flashy guys, really good, but then it takes too long to develop, and now you're forced to either pay them or ship them out of town, like the quality guys from the 2022 draft. So,
Yeah.
you get the pinch. You get pinched. It's not easy to do that.
June, let me ask you something.
Hold on.
Is the 2022 draft still an A plus with Garrett, Brees, Sauce, and Jermaine Johnson?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's definitely still an A, but now comes a time where you have to select who do you want to pay, and who you're gonna have to let go. You
Well,
cannot
right.
you cannot
Well,
keep everybody. And
June, yes.
and and
Go
and,
ahead.
and, and of that draft, I will say this: out of all four, the person who has done the least, it's now time to pay him. So why pay
I
him?
don't know, June. I don't know. It might be the least might be Jermaine Johnson.
Uh,
To
Listen,
be fair.
now look, let's be fair. All right,
Hmm.
Jermaine Johnson is the leader. I'm pretty sure that we all can agree on that, right?
Correct.
He's a leader.
Yeah.
Okay, when he plays, he plays. I'm sure, pretty sure we can
Hmm.
all agree on that, right? Okay. Well, this is my thing. When he plays, he produce. Yeah, Brees is too inconsistent. Too inconsistent. When he plays, he's too inconsistent. Then he gets hurt. So, like, what are we? And not, and as a matter of fact, he plays the position that's the
Hmm.
easiest to replace.
June, I can't argue with you with that, but what I can finish your point because I hate when you get
I have a
interrupted
point in
because
this. Yeah, go ahead.
June and I always get interrupted. So
Nah, Pete, I'm done with it.
that
I'm
Mark
just,
and
I'm just
Mark,
saying.
that wasn't towards you, Mark.
Yeah, it was just,
I'm
but
just
Hey,
saying.
how
but
much
go
is
No,
ahead,
it wasn't.
go ahead.
No, it wasn't.
I'll run it over,
how
but
much
go
is
Go ahead.
ahead.
Brees looking for? How
I
much
don't.
is
We
Brees
don't know
looking for?
yet. Wait. Oh man, Reggie, hold on one second. June. To be fair though, you saying he's being less productive or least productive. June, his rookie year, he was. Now I know he got hurt, but
Right,
he was on.
there
He
you
was
have it.
June. He averaged 6 yards almost a carry.
Right,
So
but the big
okay.
part of that is he got hurt and missed the rest
Yes.
of the
Okay.
season,
So and then the year he came back, he was third in the NFL with yards from
and
scrimmage.
still didn't
And
have
then
a th- and
last
still
year,
didn't have a
okay,
1,000 yards.
so June, so what?
Can I
So
say
what?
something
I
in
don't
this,
care about
please?
that.
I,
Yes,
I
Mark,
know
let
you
me just
don't.
finish
There's
real quick.
obvious.
Mark, I'll be
Yes, go ahead, Pete.
not even 30 seconds. So yes, June, that part, okay, he didn't have 1,000 yards. That's a number. Then last year, he wasn't as good. He had a down year. So to
But
say that Brees is the
oh,
least productive, I can't get on the boat with you on that one. I'm sorry.
no, wait. If you're comparing him and Jermaine Johnson, look, Pete. We just walked through it. You just said when Jermaine Johnson plays, he's productive and he's a leader. He's a locker room presence. Now we
Yes.
talking about a running back who. Okay, now we talking about a running back who's not who's too inconsistent, and he's not a leader. He's not a locker room presence, and he happens to get hurt more often than not, and and
Can you stop with the ands? I'd like to talk at some
he
point about
has
Jets Commute. Go ahead.
see, look, there you go again, Pete, there you go again. Please let me finish.
You guys had a 5 minute back and
And
forth. I got a viewpoint. But go ahead,
and
I
he
hope
happens
Mark's
to
being
have a
sarcastic
problem
there.
with I'm used to Mark. Anyway, on top of that, the guy likes to go to social media over anything. He's not dude. Now you got to pay him. This the like why? Well, like why are we going through
But
all this
June,
and Brees not
nobody
even
said
worth
we.
Can
all
I
All
that?
right.
speak now?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
I don't. I want
Listen,
to answer that, but go ahead, Mark, because you don't
June.
have to
Okay,
pay
look.
him.
June is out on Brees Hall. That is settled business. That's fine.
Yes.
I get it. I believe me. 2 months of listening to it, I got it. Here's
Two.
the
Thank you.
You're
dude.
It was
shortchanging
three
it.
months. It was 3 months.
4 months.
Well,
It
I
was three
know. I'm
We're
months.
in
being
April
listen.
now.
I'm being
Yeah.
gracious on that. Listen,
3.5.
he's
Mark,
he's
let's
the,
get
he's the
Mark.
president of the Brees
Three.
Hall Haters Club.
Mark.
We're
Three and a
good.
half.
I got it.
Three and a half months in chronological Torres terms. Go ahead.
Yes. Now here's the problem, of course, which is then when we shift to trade compensation, somehow other teams are going to, in a rich running back draft, mind you, the teams are going to bend over backwards. If I was listening to June's, imagine this being a used car on the lot, and June is telling you all the bad things about Brees Hall, and then he wants premium comp. Imagine for somebody like that, you're not getting anything. They might as well release him based off June's assessment. But that's not what I wanted to say. What I wanted to say was we just sped right past Pete's point, which is an important one about Jermaine Johnson. You can say that he's a locker room guy, and when he's on the field, productive, and the rest of it. Nobody can tell me that an edge rusher coming off an Achilles injury, the first 1 year removed, that we're going to see. I'm not wishing this on Jermaine Johnson, but we got to stop acting like it's going to be A-okay for Jermaine.
Oh, good point. No. Great point. Now, once again, I won't fight back. That is a big question mark.
And
Yes, that
that
is.
edge room is him. It's Will McDonald and some other undrafted dudes. Like that's what that's going to look like. And you
Yeah.
got Glenn and Wilkes. I can't imagine these guys aren't sitting down and saying, "Hey, look, hold on a second. Like, yeah, Jermaine's in the facility. We're seeing him work. Like we're hopeful for him and Will McDonald. Let's take a step. And we got some, but man, oh man,
Mark,
this edge room. Yeah, go
Mark,
ahead.
you just made me think of something now. Now I know he's unproven, but a guy like Jamin Davis, right? That's who they're high on now to develop
The
him.
linebacker.
Yes. So
Yeah.
then do you line Quincy up to him, blitz him on the outside with those two guys to generate more pass rush? And Wilkes likes to blitz. No? That's what I
Both
would
these
do.
Yes, he
linebackers
likes
have
to
speed.
blitz.
All these linebackers have. Well, I don't know about Davis, but both Sherwood and Quincy are fast. Like we've seen
W-
Quincy fly through gaps when he can play free, and he's fast and he creates problems. He's a playmaker.
Hey, Mark, let me ask you a question, Mark. Before Petey says something, were you leaning towards Shamar Stewart?
I don't know enough about the player.
Okay, all right, continue.
No, June, back to the point though. Like I don't Mark now hear me out. I don't think that Jermaine, like, if the Jets decline his 5th year, let's see if a lot's going to tell me in May when the 5th year options are exercised or declined, because Garrett and Sauce are definitely getting them. You have to give it to both of them. Now, I would give it to Jermaine, but to be fair, June, I mean, I know Jermaine's 2nd year was really good. It really was. He elevated. He played,
Yes.
but then he played one game. So technically, he's missed more. To your point, June, Brees misses a lot of games. Jermaine Johnson missed more games than Brees in his 3 years.
Okay. So, now, Petey, and correct me if I'm wrong. Was and I know this accolade might not mean much to many, but wasn't Jermaine Johnson a Pro Bowler?
I think he was an all. Yes, yes.
Okay.
But
All right.
June, I don't care about Pro Bowls. Quinnen Williams was a
Uh,
Pro Bowl, right?
yeah, he
Okay,
was.
so and Jet
Oh,
fans are
okay.
out on him.
No. My point is he's productive and he's recognized, and Brees Hall just isn't. He's just not. It doesn't make any
Dude,
sense to pay
oh
him.
boy. All right, let's just get back to Jermaine Johnson for a second. Okay, my profile for Jermaine Johnson is that he's a legitimate 3-down edge. I really like his run defense, and he's the kind of rusher that he wants to earn the right to rush the passer. And I've seen him do that well against Josh Allen. You know what I mean? Like it's not a lot of guys that can chase Josh Allen down from behind, make a tackle. But we can't. And listen, that's not. It may sound like a small point, but you got to play the guy 2 times a year. Like it's not a joke. You need real edge rushers that can contribute against the best quarterback in your division, right? But here's the problem: he's coming off an Achilles injury. We don't know what version of Jermaine Johnson we're going to get in year one. 1 year removed from that. So I think I would be much more favorable on Brees Hall having a better year than Jermaine Johnson this year. I don't think that's a stretch.
Correct. And
Now,
go ahead. Go
hold
ahead.
on, because my pushback to you is, well, Brees has some type of injury as well, and on top of that, during the time he played, let's face it, this is his worst year as a pro. So
Wait, Junior,
it's
are
a
you
question mark
projecting
with
an
Brees
injury
too.
on Brees Hall? I'm just talking about the fact that Jermaine Johnson is coming off an Achilles. Brees is coming off a healthy year last year. I'm not assuming Brees is going to get hurt this year and that's going to hurt his
No, no, no,
production.
no. What I'm saying is, am I wrong when I say that Brees did have some type of injury last year,
He
right?
had like a sprained something with his knee. I don't know if it
Okay,
was
so
his surgically repaired knee, but he did have something.
Right. So once again, we're looking at a linebacker or a defensive end who got hurt one time. But we talking about a running back who has been hurt multiple times and has not produced. And not only that, he can't hold on to the ball. He has drops, crucial situations, and he can't read the hole. His vision
Here
doesn't
it
have it.
comes, Mark.
And we don't and when listen, and we done had so many analysts, everybody come here and tell you the same thing. His vision, he's lacking in the vision department. And now it's time to pay him. So if I gotta pick between the two, I'm gonna go with Jermaine Johnson 100% of the time, 10 out of 10 times.
So let's imagine, and again, I'm not putting this on Jermaine Johnson. Let's imagine that Jermaine, from his Achilles, is showing a lack of speed and strength 1 year removed, which isn't. Listen, it's an Achilles injury for an edge rusher. Like, let's not. You know what I mean? What didn't what was Von Miller's?
Yes.
I mean, I know the age is different, but what did Von Miller have? Didn't he get? Was it an Achilles?
ACL.
It was an ACL. Okay, so it's different. But I don't know, man. That he must. Brees is so low, and listen, again, it's settled business, and you can't stand Brees Hall. But he must be so low in your evaluation that you're willing to take an edge rusher 1 year removed from an Achilles over a running back who's shown flashes, who's now getting another running threat in the backfield, and it's going to be a run-first type of offense with, by the way, Angstrom coming out of Detroit, where they ran the ball very effectively, with Brees Hall liking how Jahmyr Gibbs is being used. So he's really going to like the style and flavor of the offense. Let's not, yeah, he's dropped it a couple times, but let's not act like Brees Hall isn't a threat out of the backfield to catch and run.
Oh,
You
Mark,
must
he
really be
definitely
low on the
is.
guy. Like
Wait,
I'm not buying on this. I'm sorry.
now, hold on. When you say dropped it a couple of times, you don't make the top 10 on drop passes in the NFL if you just dropped it a
No,
couple of times.
June.
You
No, but in
dropped it
my
a lot
world,
of
June,
times.
concentration issues are a coaching issue. It's not a mechanical. I think they could
Concentration
work
is on
on
the
him with that.
coach.
And also when it comes to securing the football, between fumbles and
That's on the
stuff,
coach
it's
too.
because again.
That's on the
But
coach
here's the
too.
thing, June. If I've seen 2 years without those issues, and then this last year where those issues emerged, in a year, by the way, where the whole offense looked like trash, like, forgive me for looking at the upside. I don't think that's green goggles. I think he's going to be in a better position. I think he'll be in a better position this year
Mark,
than he was
can I
last year.
comment on this real quick? To be fair,
Yes, Pete.
June, every time Brees Hall touches the ball in the open field, he's a threat to break it. Every team is scared, and you can't tell me differently, June. Yes.
Now, Pete, I asked you this question last week. So, as a running back, who's kind of you in 3 years got to say he's often injured. Um, the question is, well, we've all know and heard that he's lost a step. So, does running backs get faster as they go on, or they get slower?
I think it's a 1 year blip, June. I know where you're going with this.
Probably
Yeah.
June. As you get older, I don't know if you get a little bit. It depends. And
Exactly
but
my
you get
point. You don't
strong.
get faster, you
But
get slower.
June, to be fair, you get stronger mentally as you get older. So that could be a wash in my eyes.
You know what's crazy? We just had a man sit here and tell you that Brees Hall in 17 games broke 7
Okay,
tackles
that's last
out of
year.
17 games. Wow, this is crazy. Yo, hey, Jerry, is this just to know that this draft here is one of the deepest running back drafts in recent history. We're talking about
Right,
holding on to a
June.
guy
But you're all right.
that doesn't make
You're
sense,
saying
bro.
the way all right. You
Doesn't
guys
make
could laugh
sense.
all you want, Mark. I got
There's
this
a
one.
problem in this. Okay,
No,
hold on.
there is a problem because the fact is, June, that you devalue Brees so much, but yet you're just going to think trading him and getting a fifth you never
That's
said
where I was
fifth
going,
or
Pete.
sixth. You never said that. I'm not putting words in your mouth. But if he's devalued, why is somebody going to trade for him then? Why?
I, listen, Petey. My point is this: you get in a draft that has deep interior defensive linemen, deep tight ends, and deep running back. A fourth or fifth rounder could be a starter at one of your positions. Why wouldn't you do it?
June. I wouldn't
Well, so
do it
now we're
right
starting
now.
fourth and fifth
I
rounder
want to
and
see
starting.
I want to see how Justin Fields and Brees Hall
I
play
mean,
together.
I mean,
Pause.
but we got to. I mean, the fourth and fifth rounders. I mean, dude. I mean, that still is really good value for starters.
Yeah.
That still is
Okay,
really
so
good
you
value for
can get
starters.
Nice.
Jarek, you can
No.
almost
Go
get. You
ahead,
think
Pete.
you can get almost 1,000 yards out of a fourth round running back this year?
It's possible.
What?
Yeah,
I'm
What do you?
asking.
Hey,
I
hold
I'm
on,
just.
hold
don't.
on.
I'm
Yo,
just
yeah.
Hey,
brother.
what round did you guys pick up Davis?
fifth.
Fifth?
No,
Oh, Ray Davis.
Ray Davis,
Is it Ray Davis? The
fourth
Well, we
big
have.
round.
running back y'all got.
Yep, fourth round.
No,
Fourth
Isaiah
round?
Davis. Oh,
Oh,
you're talking
Isaiah
about
Davis.
that.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
You got to
Right.
be
Well, yeah.
honest, Pete. You already saw you got a little small dose of it towards the end of the year.
Okay.
You gotta
Yes.
hold
But
Thank
on,
you.
hold
Reggie,
on, hold on,
go
hold on,
ahead. Go
hold on.
ahead. Go ahead.
You have
Let him
you
finish.
have
Let him finish.
two young studs. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. It's two young studs. I'm not gonna say one is better than the other. You got two young studs. They're healthy. They have a future. Do you
Mm-hmm.
think they're gonna go and pay a Brees that has injury, injury plagued the season? Not to say he's come back, but he can't outrun nobody. He's running to them, not away from them.
Facts.
No, I'm saying.
And can't break a tackle when
Oh,
they do hit him. So
No,
what are
geez.
but
we talking
honestly,
So
about?
I don't
Isaiah
see them.
Davis,
I
by
don't
the
see them
way,
moving on. I don't see them moving it, giving him a bigger because you're gonna have to pay him. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to pay him.
Thank
Is-
you. Thank.
So,
Isaiah Davis was drafted in the fifth round.
mm-hmm,
Okay.
mm-hmm.
So, but again, like now folks are going to say, okay, well, sure, Isaiah Davis can run between the tackles. Sure, he can be a threat out in space. Sure, he's fast. Listen, he's a guy. He is a guy. And that's fine. Maybe he can develop into more, but stop. We got to stop elevating these guys over Reese. That's just, I'm sorry, dude.
You,
You can't do that.
we
No,
gotta stop
no,
elevating. We gotta stop elevating
Mark,
Brees.
you're trying.
So
What are we
was
talking
Isaiah
about?
They don't.
Davis or Braylon Allen, were they on offensive
Mark,
rookie of the year
they don't
trajectory
have
in
to
their
be
first year?
Breeze. Like I think that's the thing.
Yeah, I think you
They
guys are
don't
moving
have to
on
be
from
that
that.
player. They
Yeah,
Yeesh.
if they can be serviceable and be and contribute nicely to the offense, who cares? They don't have to be Breeze.
these are
All
between
There's
the
right.
not a lot of
tackle.
players that
You
have
got
Breeze's skill set.
you have between the tackle
These
runners
guys are
right
in
now. You
love
have
with
between the
Brees.
tackle runners right now,
Hold
and you
on.
have a
So you
pair of
got.
them.
So you're telling me. See what you guys are telling me is that you have a football team that's going to be trying to run the football a lot. And if you
Mm-hmm.
watch again how the Steelers, whatever we can gripe about this, blah blah, but how the Steelers used Justin Fields, where the rushing attack outside of Fields was a major part of the success that contributed to the 4-2 record. That now you're gonna eject Brees Hall and you're gonna insert a fourth or a fifth rounder, which that's the other part of this conversation that is troublesome, which is in a rich running back draft. How much trade value were we really expecting for Brees Hall? Or are we looking at this through a jet read lens and saying,
I
oh,
think
we can
I
get
think
guys, we can get great value, and then you can get some
No,
productivity out of Brees Hall?
Mark,
you just hit it
No,
on
Mark,
the
you're
head.
acting
I'm
You
like
not
hit it on
buying
the
it.
head right there. You
you're.
hit it on the head. You just said it's a rich running back draft versus me paying my running back.
Thank you, Reggie.
Yes.
This is not the average
All right.
draft
Hold on,
class.
But
Like
they
you
don't have to pay
can.
him this
There
year
is a
either.
Mark. Hold on,
possibility.
Mark. Can people in the if you're in the listener, it's on a delay. But people that can view the jumbotron right now, I just posted a video that Brees Hall can't outrun anyone. Can you please watch that? That this was week. This was at MetLife week. I forget what week it was. Week 13 or 14,
How
or
many years
no
ago?
week. No, this was this year. But watch how he gets stopped here. I just want you guys to
Pete,
watch that.
Pete, for every video you post that I could post a video of him having the long run and getting walked down.
That's
Wait, hold on.
but
For every video I can show you that, I can show you videos where one person bring him down with an arm tackle.
Well,
okay.
you got to
What are we
cleanse up
talking
the
about?
Brees Hall haters t-shirts for
No,
June, dude. He's got he's
no.
the hats, the
It's not the
shirt,
hated
the
T-shirt.
belts,
It's
the
the fact. It's the
boxers.
fact that most of us is being realistic, but you guys loving this guy for what reason? I don't
June,
understand.
all right, June. I'm not saying Yuji. 1 second, maybe 15. I'm not saying I love him, but I would just rather keep him and see what he could do with Fields this year. I don't see what the big
Petey,
deal is. What is the big deal?
you,
You're
you're
not gonna get nothing for him.
you're still
Okay,
attached.
so we
You're
lose
still
him.
Woo!
So
attached
You're
to
what?
not
the
gonna get
You
hip,
lose
nothing
dog.
for
him.
him.
You're still
So you
attached to
lose
the
him.
hip.
All right.
So you're
You
just
gotta
gonna lose
let
him
the
for nothing?
Yeah, why
you
not?
gotta
If
let
he's
the
So you're
the
gonna win?
ship
if he
So you're gonna win
sail,
six
dog.
or
hold on,
seven games, and
if
then lose
Brees
him the
Hall,
next season?
okay, if Brees
Petey,
Hall
you
is
have
so
lost your mind.
no, I that man,
No, I'm-
Shit.
Can we get
it's all
Dr.
right.
Eugene here to
Yeah,
diagnose
Petey,
this
dog.
problem?
Petey, you gotta
what?
let the ship sail, dog. You gotta let the
Word.
ship
Reg,
sail, dog.
You need to worry about Reek and Tua, all right?
Hey,
That's
Rick,
true.
hey, bro, he got kicked out of his
Uh-oh.
house, dog. He living in a high rise. That says all I
Yeah,
gotta say right now.
yeah.
Yuji, what's up? Good morning.
My brother. What's up, you?
Hey man, I typically don't. I just like to listen, but I heard fourth and fifth round too much. Mark, where do you think the run on running backs
Mm.
typically start in the NFL draft?
Mm.
Done did
You
it.
mean in this
Done
year's
did it.
draft? Where's it going to start? I
Period.
don't
No, no,
know.
he don't.
I think
June,
it's
don't
No,
pile on
No,
period.
he's
Mark
talking
right
about
now.
period.
Let this be an
He's not just
ISO.
talking about this draft. He's talking about in drafts. Period.
no, but this is but June. That you're we got to operate in the present
No.
when it comes to the stock of running backs in this draft. We don't know when the run will start because you know
Yeah,
how it goes.
I actually do.
You know when the run's going to start on running backs? Okay, let's hear it.
Yep, it's actually the fourth round.
Mm-hmm.
So the deepest running back draft class was 2017. 2017. You had CMC, Leonard Fournette. I wish that my computer was in front of
Barkley.
me. No, Barkley was not in that draft.
No, he was 18. Sorry, 18.
It was Dalvin Cook,
Delvin Cook.
Joe Mixon,
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Alvin Kamara. I'm actually going in
Mm.
order of picks. I still remember Alvin Kamara, and then it was Kareem Hunt, and then the bottom pick 249 was Chris Carson, and then in the sixth round, I think it was it 174 was Aaron Jones. And mind you, 30 running backs were selected. That's the most in the 2000s era.
Oh yeah, I
That's
see
the
it.
deepest
Marlon Mack,
draft.
Tariq
Yeah,
Cohen.
Marlon Mack. Yeah,
Yeah, I
That's
see
the
it.
deepest. I can post it on Jumbotron. That is the deepest running back class in the 2000s. And actually, I took the time out to look at every running back draft. And the same trend happens. You have one first rounder or two. So it's 1 to 2. And then it's 2 to 3 second rounders. And then it's always 3 to 4. A heavier draft, you get 4, but you usually get 3. Um, Typically, if you don't have a first round guy, it's usually 4 running backs that go in the third round. And then right when the fourth round goes, it is fucking draft galore, and they all fly off the boards from the fourth to the fifth and the sixth round. The run on running backs is always going to be in the fourth round, and I have all the data and evidence to
Yeah,
show it.
Yuji, that's fair. But I'm just
Let me
saying,
ask the question, Pete.
go ahead.
Let me ask the question on this. Okay, so if I'm an NFL general manager, not working for the Jets but for another team, and I know if Yuji's right, and I know that, okay, look, man, the run on running backs is going to be in the fourth. Why on planet Earth am I trading the Jets a fourth for Brees Hall when I can get a back of that caliber as Yuji's talking about in the fourth, fifth, and sixth round?
Because Mark, there's always going to be an organization there's an organization that's going to value Brees. They're just going to value it because they believe that Brees is the final piece of the puzzle, and that's what we're
And,
saying.
and then also
No one is
too,
saying
there may be a team out there that technically only, like, I'm not going to use the Commanders for example. The Commanders don't have the draft capital; they have 5 picks. But there's other teams out there that can't actually get in that window that they want. And then they go out and get a running back because they know in the draft they're not going to be in the window of draft selections to actually get one.
right. And Brees is young. Like I mean, Mark, you said it. He's a young running back. Yes he had an ACL injury, but but for the most part he played almost every game. He's an all-purpose back, which is again, you're not going to find too many productive all-purpose back. A team that's needing a running back, the final piece of the puzzle, will value Brees because again, if this was the case, then last year the amount of running back that were traded and free, I mean, like they would, it wouldn't have happened because last year I thought was a pretty solid running back draft class overall.
And another thing, in 2017, from pick 4 to pick 105, there was 8 running backs selected.
Yeah,
Okay.
yep, that
Those
was day
eight,
one and day two. Yep.
Now,
those eights were day 1 and day 2s,
yep.
but they were all starters in the NFL.
Okay, Eugene, let me ask you something. Now, the draft that you just said, who would read those guys off again? Because those are really good players that got
Yeah, so
drafted.
it was uh, LSU's running back, a
Fournette.
list: Fournette,
Yeah. Okay.
CMC,
Yep.
and then I think the second pick of the second round was Dalvin Cook.
Okay.
Then it was
Now.
Joe Mixon,
Yep.
Alvin Kamara,
Hmm.
Kareem Hunt,
Yep. Now, did all
Deontay
those?
Deontay Foreman.
Yeah, Eugene, real quick.
And
Did all those players have really good rookie years? I know McCaffrey did.
the only one that was 2 that didn't, because James Conner was pick 105.
Okay.
James Conner, Foreman, and Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook got hurt. He didn't pop off until his 3rd year, and then in a 2-year stretch, he had 29 total touchdowns, and he had one season he had 1,900 scrimmage yards, and the other season he had 1,600 scrimmage yards. It was back-to-back seasons.
That's fair. I'm
And
just
then
saying.
it's like, and then James Conner was a 900-yard. He was never a 1,000-yard rusher with the Steelers, but he was a touchdown guy, and that was pick
Yeah,
105.
but Connor was still good. I'll give him that.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So
yeah.
here, my point is I just want to see, and you guys could say it's not having green goggles. I just think Brees Hall with a running quarterback and Jets, the Aaron Glenn could say all he wants, that he wants Justin Fields to play quarterback. When that fucking pocket collapses, Justin Fields is taken off. So to me, I want to see Brees Hall with that quarterback and see
But
how he does.
now, once again, why does he have to have a running quarterback for him to be effective in that way?
He doesn't, man. But listen, to go with what Pete is saying, Pete. Imagine and listen. You guys know how I feel about Justin Fields. Okay, let's imagine the play breaks down. Justin Fields now outside the pocket, which is where he shines. And Justin, and I like this part about him, he's still. Oh, I'll do the mute. That's a courtesy mute. So let's imagine Justin Fields is outside the pocket. He can't run, but I do like that Justin Fields is still looking downfield. Now let's imagine Brees Hall in the flat or available as a check down. And now you got a real problem as a defense because you got both Justin Fields and Brees Hall in open space potentially. Like that's a problem, dude.
Wait.
I'm trying to figure out how to keep Justin Fields in the pocket.
Hey, Mark, you know what's a bigger problem? Imagine he throw it to Brees and he drops it. Or imagine Brees catches it and fumbles it. Like, what are we talking
Wow.
about? These are both things that can happen.
June, let me know in your very limited, extremely limited production run of the Brees Hall
You know,
Haters apparel shop
he
goes
could
live on Temu. Just let me know.
he could be replaced, Mark. I don't understand his infatuation with him. Buckeye, what's up, Buck?
I was just gonna say, we watched every game of Brees Hall,
Yep.
and we are still talking about potential. For
Yeah, this
3
shit is
years, we've been
crazy.
talking about potential. And then Petey, you say, I want to see him with Fields. I think he's going to be terrific with Fields. But I'll tell you right now, if he's not terrific, if he's fumbling, if he can't see a hole, which he has shown over and over, he has trouble
Mhm.
seeing a hole. Your thing of like, we can move him then. Move him for what?
Then,
I
Exactly.
right.
never said trade him. Just move on from him. Don't
He's
bring him
just
back
gone. He's
next
not going to
year.
get it.
So you get
So
So you
nothing.
get nothing.
so now all of a sudden Jeff fans are like valuing, players that we're not going to get anything for because of the comp formula. Give me a break. He's going to
Hey,
get a
Pete.
big year. He's going to get a big deal anyway.
No,
If
he
if
won't.
he
No,
if
he
he does
won't.
not perform, he
You
will
don't.
not.
Okay,
No, he will
Brees
not.
Hall is going to get at least. Okay, if he has a bad year, he will still get 6 million plus
From
for at
who?
least guarantee it. June.
Oh man, I
And if
can't.
somebody wants to bring up a cold take exposed, I don't give a shit.
Look,
I'm wrong.
hey, Pete.
What?
If the Jets move off the way you're thinking, then that's the reason why we won't win fucking games and we won't
Okay,
have them.
so what did
I
Brees
wouldn't
Hall
be
have last
no.
year? Mark, can you do home as you Mark, you think people throw digs at you? Can you say
Yes,
now? Well, you throw digs at June too, to be fair, and so do I.
all
Can
day,
you
all
can
day.
you do some homework
Like Dig
here and
Dug.
bring up?
What do you want to
Can
know?
you can you bring up Brees Hall's stats
What a
from
fucking
last year?
asshole.
Shout out to Dig Dug, by the way. You
But
want
why
Brees
do
Hall
we
stats
need
from
to
last
do
year?
that?
I just excuse me.
Why do we need to do that? Petey, you watched him. He was awful.
That shit is
Uh,
crazy.
He fumbled.
You
He dropped
okay.
passes.
you guys
He
I
couldn't
just
hit a hole.
you guys
You
got
didn't
Brees
trust him to
Hall
get it
I
tattooed
going.
just
on your chest.
but what but
This is the
yeah,
last thing I'll say when it
mhm.
comes to this situation because y'all have been talking about this for weeks now.
Yeah.
I think I think the smartest deal is, especially with the new head coaches. I think you just roll the dice and actually just say if see if he actually does good.
Thank you.
If he does good, you let him walk. You take the comp pick. If he doesn't do good, you let him walk, and you don't get a comp pick.
Yeah, but
But
the comp pick's tied if we don't sign people ourselves, right?
Right.
Yes,
no,
but
Exactly.
Buckeye,
it's
yes,
about how much he gets. If he has a good seat, let's say he has 1,000 yards, he's probably going to get paid more than Ramondre Stevenson, which is above 9. I think Ramondre is getting 9 mil
yes.
or something
Yuji,
like
I
that.
did this already. I want to do it again.
So
Now
so
that
I have
before you
recent
go.
numbers. I got
he'll be able to get you'll be able to get a comp pick. It's no big deal.
all right. Here's Brees's
Yuji,
numbers
wait,
for you.
Mark,
Oh,
read
go
them
ahead.
off because I want to read something off to Yuji. Wait,
All
Mark,
right. So,
I'm ready. I'm ready.
all
Okay,
right, go ahead.
Yuji, real quick. Okay, he's not better than uh, Derrick Henry. Is Brees Hall better than DeAndre Swift?
Yes,
Okay,
he is
is Bree?
ass. Swift is ass.
Okay,
Peter, you
is
went from Henry to Swift.
no, because I'm going by the salary of because UG brought up
Go
of
ahead.
Ramondre getting paid.
Go ahead. Go ahead,
Okay, is
Pete.
he better than Ramondre Stevenson? UG.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's 9 million. Is he better than David Montgomery?
Mm,
No, I don't think so.
no
No,
No.
way.
James James
I don't know if he's
Conner?
better than Stevenson either.
I,
James Conner?
honestly, I don't
no.
either.
No.
No.
James
Okay.
James Conner in the
Did
Arizona
I
is
say
good.
Chuba Hubbard?
He
No.
definitely not better than him. Hell no.
Chuba, no, because Chuba is ascending, dude. Like they're
Yes.
paying him for the future.
Okay. I think Brees Hall is going to get in that range. That's just my opinion. Mark, can you read off the stats? In
Yes. So,
2024, though, Mark, just read off the stats before you get interrupted, and then me and you get run over, please.
2024.
all right.
2024.
So he started. Yeah, yeah. So he started 16 games. In those games, he recorded what was it? 209 rushing attempts, 876 yards on the ground, averaging 4.2 a carry, and 5 rushing touchdowns.
Mm.
And by the way, that doesn't include any that were brought back because of penalty. Let's not act like that didn't
Oh,
happen last year.
come
And
on.
then in the past game, listen, June, you were the guy throwing your remote at the TV when fucking Smith and Lazard were getting the holding calls. And look, all
That
right,
I did.
let
That
me
I
keep
did.
going.
Go ahead.
Let me keep
Go
going.
ahead.
All right, I don't want to get interrupted. In the past game, 57 receptions for 483 yards, average 8.5 yards per catch, 3 receiving touchdowns.
That's pretty good for a running back. Eight yards per catch for a
I'm
running
not
back.
gonna
That's
lie, bro. That shit sound like Pacheco, and that's like basically a 2-year deal.
No, wait. No, wait. Now, Mark, finish reading off. Now, read the drops and read the fumbles. You got to read everything. Don't just read the.
I'm not doing your homework, Jude. You
Now
got
you're
to
not doing
go.
the
okay.
homework. See,
Okay,
this is
he
the
had
bullshit.
no. I'll do it for him,
Go
June. He
ahead.
had 9 drops because we looked at it. He had 9 drops, and how many fumbles? 8, and he lost 3.
What?
That's
What?
9, by the way, out of 57 receptions. So,
Yeah,
like,
Which
if
Mark,
that doesn't sound like Pacheco anymore. We all agree
Exactly.
about
It says sound way worse. Thank you.
that. Shit.
Thank you. You. Come on. This is crazy. This is crazy
June,
that we even been on it for 2
June.
fucking weeks.
It's not even that. It's just the fact. It's something to talk about. We've been talking about the draft. The draft is in 10 days. I actually think they're going to take Warren now. Now I don't want to do it at 7, but I mean, if they do it, am I going to be angry? No. But if those offensive line guys aren't available, I think you have to go Warren, or I don't know if they're going to spend the 7th pick on McMillan.
Pete, some 3 weeks ago, I read somebody talking about Warren at 9 because this is way before the Derek Carr injury. I can't remember who wrote this, but the Warren at 9 would be really. You'd make a lot of people happy if they did that, because then you're getting additional draft capital at positions of need like DT. Right, you have some other options you can make. But if you watch Warren's film, man, he's a complete tight end. Like, and I've watched clips of this guy playing. He's my kind of football player, man. You see this guy like whistle to whistle, running people out of bounds as a blocker. Like he's. I like him a lot. I like his play a lot, and the Jets need an all-around tight end as a really nice compliment to Ruckert, who we don't know what that is. He's an H-back. Right now, he's an H-back at best, Ruckert. And Stone Smart, who had he started seeing a little bit of upward arrow near the end of last year, but I mean, they just rolled the dice on that guy. No one's expecting a ton out of Stone Smart. They need a capable Y, and that's Warren.
Hey, Mark, let me go on record by saying this. Out of the two, out of Warren and Loveland, I think Warren's the better football player, but I think Loveland's the better tight end. I'm just gonna say that.
Well,
Well, wait, the
I
better
guess
tight end,
this is the
but
last
like
thing.
what?
Teams
Yeah,
build
go ahead.
inside out, and if one of those good linemen are available, don't get upset if they get drafted by the Jets.
That's what I want anyway. That's what I
Like
want.
We've been talking about that too.
don't get a new job, head coaching job from the Jets, and just say, oh yeah, I want to take a tight end in the first round. You're probably thinking to yourself, I got to build this shit from the ground up. I got to build it inside out, and they're going to go trenches. But
There's a strong argument that they take Membu at 7 because I'm watching what Ben Johnson is doing in Chicago, and he's focusing on trench play. And I gotta believe that Angstron's talking to Glenn and being like, "Listen, guys, like we have a game plan here for this shit to run, and it's going to start with the trenches." Like, and if Angstron's saying, "Look, take Membu over Warren," that's who they're taking. That's my guess for how that plays out. But I mean, I'm not crying if they take line. I mean, I would prefer you have a team that could develop a lineman in the second round, right? Not always wedded to picking lineman in the first round.
Yeah, but then
But
that means they're going to sign Okafor. Sign Okafor, Mark. Then Okafor's got a chance to start at right tackle, and I don't know if that's a good thing. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
you're rolling the dice.
I mean, Pete, how would you feel if Okafor is just a swing tackle, just in case anybody get hurt? I'm pretty sure you would
Well,
feel
yeah,
better, right? So let's
but
just take the tackle.
June, you can. Let's be real. You can get creative though and put Myers and then swing AVT. I know they said AVT's a guard, but in a pinch, you could still do it again because you have Myers, you have Xavier Newman, so you technically have two backups at center, but you could play Newman at guard too. I would think. No.
I would think that you and Mark would pull for the tackle because you would want your line. You would want
Yeah.
your line to be better, so that
Well,
Brees can accomplish what you guys expect him to.
here we go with the
I'm just
breeze
saying.
now.
I'm just saying.
June, the dig
Well,
June, you can keep digging a hole like Jay-Z. It's fine. I don't care.
I won't stop digging. I got my shovel with me.
there
So,
goes guys digging. Go
by
ahead.
the way, guys, real quick,
Go ahead.
we're on YouTube live. If you could subscribe to Jets Commute on YouTube, we'd really appreciate it. And we're working on some things, so
Yeah, look, they may end up going tackle, and I know they're saying from the podium that they want to build for Justin Fields. The truth is, I think they want to build for really any quarterback, and they're not in a win now window. Like they may say they're winning now and from now on, but the truth is, like they're setting things up so that whoever's playing. Because let me tell you something: what happens? God forbid this happens, and Fields is tough. But what if Fields gets things up and they're forced to put Taylor in? Like you need Taylor to stay upright and stay healthy, and that guy's got more injury concerns than Fields. So there's a strong argument for them going tackle at 7, but I would rather.
Well, Mark, if Campbell and Membo are gone, then you're not in a bind, but
But
then
Yeah,
you
Pete,
have to
then it's Warren.
then Warren's in consideration.
but Pete,
He already is with one of them being
but Pete,
available. Go ahead.
but Pete. The,
Yes, but June.
the thing is, I guess we all could sit here and say one of them is going to be available. One of those tackles will be available, whether it be Mimble or it'd be Campbell. One of them will be available. The odds on both of them going in the top 6, I can't see.
They might listen June, because let's say that Sanders flunks and falls. Okay, well past the Jets. Okay, let's say that happens. The areas of supply, it's a great supply, and for in this draft, we're talking DT almost in order, right? DT, tight end, running back, and maybe then you got a bunch of wide receivers who are like could be high quality, let's say wide receiver 2s in the league. I did not mention offensive tackle, right? You got the supply of quality offensive tackles not high, and when you have a suspect quarterback class, who's to say that the tackles might not fly off the board before you get to 7? Because again, who knows who the Jets are going to take at 7 if they are going to take a tackle? Wouldn't you want to get ahead of the Jets and pull a New England and Steelers and go get a guy before the Jets pick? Yeah, Kurt, we're just talking.
Yeah, Jacksonville scares me. I don't care what nobody say. I can see New England and Jacksonville getting the tackles. They were stuck with Warren, but then I'm not that upset. But to say that is for sure a tackle's going to be there is false. So I agree with Mark on that. Watch out for Jacksonville being the wild card.
And if one of those tackles goes early, because listen, I know folks do their draft simulations, and it's like, oh, okay, well, listen, this shit happens in sequence, right? Like,
Yep.
And runs start based off of who gets picked, and early teams start panicking, right? So if a tackle goes early, where's New England at? Are they at 4?
Mark, they may take it. They may take the tackle. I mean, I know Bobby, doesn't work for New England, but he thinks they're going to take Campbell or Membo.
Right. So
So,
that may happen, and
Mark,
then teams will
right,
look and be like, "Oh, I got to get this other tackle before
right.
suddenly
And
it's
then
a bunch of
Mark, what if
suspect guys."
somebody panics and wants Shador? You never know now, because the wild card is if Shador doesn't go, which it looks like. And by the way, we're going to have somebody from the Giants on tomorrow that covers the Giants to talk about what they're going to do, because they're ahead of us. And if the Giants, what if the Giants take, Shador? Then what? Teams may panic to get up to take Travis, Travis Taylor, right? That's his name. I
Travis
always get
Hunter.
Travis Taylor, Travis Hunter. There'll be Carter. Who knows? Well, I think Carter will be gone. But
Yeah, he's going to be long gone by 3. I think that's probably his floor. Don't you think?
I, I,
yeah,
I
probably.
actually believe Jacksonville going to take Mason Graham.
Well, if he does, then one of the tackles are falling.
This is what I'm saying. That's the reason why. Because
Right.
not for nothing. If both tackles are gone, then that obviously means that Mason Graham may be the man falling down.
Yep.
Mason Graham's and Sanders.
Yeah, we got about 5 minutes left. And June and Mark, I want to congratulate you two on barely fighting this morning. So, Mark, I took the brunt of it this morning, when you weren't around. So it's fine. I could stand on my own
Well,
hill.
Pete, we didn't listen. If we wanted to start the fight again, all we'd have to do is get laser focused on Brees Hall and
Ah,
Garrett
I
Wilson and
can't
Sauce
stand
Gardner
trade him now.
and
Trade him
player
now.
evaluations, and the shit will go off the rails. But it's important, like this closely removed from draft night, to talk about what other teams may do, because we know what the Jet needs are, but we can't. You can't look at this shit through a periscope. Like, we can't just look at it as a Jet lens. What are these teams in front of us doing? When will
Mark,
the run start, and how does the
yeah,
news affect it? Because that's going to
to,
affect what they do at 7.
Mark, to be fair here, and I'm, in the middle on this, I don't think June's, looking through a periscope or whatever. I just think he's downright, down and out on the Jets because of all this losing. And we didn't win with these guys. So I understand his point, even though I don't agree with it, because I want to keep everybody in quotes. So that's just my stance.
There's a lot of fans that feel that way, Pete. Like, it's been very difficult watching this team over the last decade. Let's not lie about that. But all that said, they can't be living in the trauma and trying to make smart decisions. And look, you got a whole new GM, you got a whole new head coach, and OC, and you got Wilkes in there. And Glenn is coming from a program where they turn the shit around. He's not coming from, oh man, we've been successful. We're a storied fucking franchise. He came from Detroit. Okay. They were in the trenches of turning that shit around. Their first year, they won 3 games. So I really feel like this is their last best shot with a guy like Glenn. I'm just hoping that Woody doesn't, whatever, stick his finger in the soup and F it all up for everybody. Like, that's my biggest fear right now. I think Glenn is the MVP.
Yeah,
But
Nick,
we'll see.
just jump in. Nick, good morning.
Yo, good morning, everybody. I was at the
Morning.
vet, so I'm only in with 3 minutes to spare. But first things first, did everyone enjoy some golf yesterday?
I saw some of it.
Oh, it
Mark,
was awesome.
yeah, Nick, if you comment on that, Mark Torres might leave the space because
Oh,
it's all about Mark.
it was awesome. Even like non-golf fans would have appreciated it. But I did want to touch on one thing before tomorrow or before the space wraps up right now. The Jets are going to run the ball this year, right?
Yep.
Yep.
So that's why tackle would make sense. I can get on board with that. But is Tyler Warren's run blocking not just an extension, like a third tackle on the field?
If you watch Warren's play, it's in the run game specifically, it's really nice. And the best part of Warren is that they can line him up either in line or as an H-back. And
Yeah.
teams are going to be focused on Warren. So if Warren does a hit and releases to the flat, right? Teams are going to be forced to respect it. If you're a running back, add Warren to your team. You're not fretting if you add Warren to your team in that scenario because he's a threat. Like, they got to keep an eye on him, and an eye on him is an eye not on Grease. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of
Yes.
we're on Justin Fields. So go ahead.
So like for me in my evaluation of it, Olu and let's just say Max Mitchell, for argument's sake, Olu, Max Mitchell, and Tyler Warren feels like helping the team more than Olu and Membu.
I think Carter Warren's ahead in the depth chart from Max Mitchell.
Yeah,
Then
I'm
okay.
not.
You
Then
think?
I'm not
Yeah,
on
I'm about
board.
to say Max Mitchell.
Max Mitchell, he gets thrown around a lot.
but if there's Tyler Warren over there on the side with him, helping him chip on the run game, I know the pass game might not be ideal, but we're not going to pass much anyway. It's Justin Fields. He'll have 13 attempts a game.
I still think Carter Warren's better than Max Mitchell. And listen, I haven't given up on Carter Warren, and this might be my most green goggles of all takes, which is that I think they've got shitty offensive line coaching, and I'm not 100. And I did see Carter Warren get run over by the corpse of Von Miller late in the season last year, and that soured me on the player a bit. But I don't know. I don't want to give up on Carter Warren just yet. He's also coming off. He had a pretty bad leg injury, I think, when they drafted,
I'm
like
just
before
not
the draft.
sure with a new coaching staff and a new philosophy. I'm just not sure that Membu moves the needle enough to push this team from the 6 wins they're going to have to the 8 or 9 that they need for us to really get excited. I think Tyler Warren might be able to do that.
I mean, I think he's going to be the pick again.
I
Whether it's
sure hope.
yeah,
Because you
Nick.
can, Petey,
Yeah. So
the best push quarterback in the league is Jalen Hurts. The second best is Josh Allen. The third best is Tyler Warren. We just don't know it yet.
well, I mean, that's going out on a limb without him playing the snap. But
4th and 1, give him the ball. Let him go. Let him push
I would
territory
just let
again.
Fields go for it. Let Fields do it.
Yeah, I hear you.
Warren's a quarterback. He's a former quarterback too. So if Angstrom wants
Yeah,
to
and
get
he's
creative and do some
6'6",
trickery,
260.
yeah, how about that?
Look. I'll tell you this: if Tyler Warren is the pick, and you going on the 4th and 1, whoever Max Mitchell blocking is getting ran over. We gonna lose yards.
I won't
Just
fight
run
on
the
that.
opposite way.
But think about having all those threats up there in the 4th and 1. So you got Fields. You have to respect Warren. Who knows if some folks pet player Malachi Corley doesn't start to, you know what I mean? Like, and then you have the rest. If Braylon Allen's in your back, like you have a lot of options that you have to respect in a 4th and that's not bad.
Wait,
It's
wait,
not
wait,
bad,
wait,
but
wait, 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 Mark. You said we gotta respect Malachi Corley on 4th and 1.
Well, I just said somebody's pet player of Malachi
Mark,
Corey. Look, Justin Fields can be a screen pass merchant. He did a
Mark,
bunch
you
of
did
that
so
with
good,
Pittsburgh
Mark.
too.
Yeah,
Please don't,
he was. He
Mark.
was until
Mark,
he
you
said
did
that.
so good today, and this is not a knock,
No,
Mark.
it's the
Don't
truth.
say anything that's gonna.
He said
Yeah,
Malachi
come
Corley
on.
on 4th and 1.
Cannot. The guy
Holy
got
shit!
6 targets. Well, what? Give him on an end around, Mark, for 2 yards.
No, throw him a wide receiver screen.
On
Listen,
fourth and
Corley.
one, the
He
freaking
said
fan base will go
Malachi
nuts.
fucking Corley.
Listen, I'm not. Look, I'm fine giving young players a shot. I'm giving a lot of these guys a mulligan last year because again, and folks who hate Rodgers and all the other plus hacking, there was a lot of weird shit going on last year on offense. I'm willing to give a lot of these young guys that they drafted a second shot at this and say the only reason why I'm giving Rucker another shot is now you got his college quarterback. So it's and I'm not trying to elevate Rucker past what we've seen out of him as an H
Rucker the
back.
shot to what? Third tight end.
Oh shit. Well, what a pass Stone Smart. I mean, I don't know. Look, and they got a fullback, so that's not. I don't know what they're gonna do
Mark,
with
do you
those
know
guys.
this stat? Stone Smart has more career touchdowns than Jeremy Rucker. One.
Well, his quarterback room. I mean, that I don't
Stone
know. I don't
Smart
want to.
has more career touchdowns than Denzel Mims.
Oh boy. All right, let's not. I'm not gonna look. No one's gonna put Jets quarterbacking anywhere near above whatever.
Oh, now, but we had Aaron Rodgers, Mark. Mark, let me
Oh,
stop. We're going to end on a
stop.
good note today. Yeah. Guys, have a great day. Mark, June, as always, thank you. Nick,
Thanks, everybody.
Reggie, Jarek, speakers, Buckeye, Jetstream, Curtis, Jay Mixon here. See Justin, the Jet fan. Big Haas, what up? Rusty, hello. Bill Fond, Eddie, Limage, Hector, Geo. Have a great day, guys. Meek, go Jets.
Take care, guys.
Buckeye Jerry, what are we doing?
Tear it down, baby.
Tearing it down.
Tear it down.
Trey and Brees.
Tear it down and trade Brees.